Hey there, everyone. This is Zare.
And this is Lit.
Welcoming you to 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors.
999.
We're already at that, are we?
Of course.
Okay, so this is a phenomenal visual novel, and it's the first of its kind that I'm going to be doing on the stream.
Hey, Feather. Welcome to the stream.
Yep, just in time. So this is going to be a lot of firsts, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully things don't blow up too badly. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's see if I can get this all started.
Whoa.
There we are.
That's interesting. So this is a visual novel you said before.
Yep.
Ooh. Loby clip. Ooh. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Hey Hawk, welcome to the stream. And came just in time during the epic cutscene.
Alright, sorry about that, Feather, but you'll be able to find it on YouTube afterwards.
Yeah, we'll post it later.
Okay. So, as a visual novel, there is going to be a lot of speaking, which means we're going to be putting on a lot of voices.
Yay!
Sorry if you don't like that, but we're going to have fun.
So that's why I'm here. I would have been interested to see you play that, that lolly character in the opening. That would have been interesting.
Well, you can just watch my Momodora play.
The YouTube.
YouTube is same name.
Okay.
You'll recognize it instantly.
Oh, okay. Hawk, it was a typical, it looks like a murder mystery thriller cutscene. Like, you are literally in the know about as much as I am, so. Looks interesting.
Yeah. I do know what goes on here. I'm not going to spoil anything, and I hope people in chat that have seen this before will share that sentiment.
Okay, yes. No spoilers. Game is fiction. Well, I certainly hope so, but I couldn't tell by the graphics. They're so realistic.
It could be based on reality.
Sure. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Bryant. Yes, this is connected to the other Zero Escape games. This is the first in the trilogy.
Okay, so I've volunteered to do narration. Is this it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A loud noise startled Junpei awake, and his eyes snapped open. As they adjusted to the light, he realized that he couldn't recognize his surroundings.
Ow!
With a crack, Junpei's head connected with something metal. He rolled over and threw out his hand to steady himself, but he found himself groping at empty air. His balance lost and his still dizzy mind struggling to understand what was going on, Junpei tumbled down to the cold, gray floor.
Ah! God damn it!
Thanks. Junpei glared around the room, still trying to determine where he'd woken up. The fall had shaken the last cobwebs of sleep from his mind, and finally he understood where he'd fallen from. It was a bed. A 3-level bunk bed, in fact. It was a... Junpei had fallen, apparently, from the topmost bunk.
Alright. Try not to... We're not ignoring you, chat, but we're going to try to focus on the story when the story is going, and then we'll address you when there's a break.
His shoulder hurt, his knee hurt, his hip hurt, his entire body hurt. He could feel a bump forming on his forehead where he'd slammed it against the low ceiling. He wondered if that bump was the reason he felt his vision wavering a bit, but that seemed unlikely. At first he thought the tremor that ran through his legs was just another effect of his rude awakening, but he had looked around. He realized it was real. The whole room was shaking. Was it an earthquake, he wondered? It didn't seem likely. It was shaking far too quickly for an earthquake. Then again, Junpei had no idea what it was, if not an earthquake. He tried to tell himself it was important. Junpei rubbed the growing bump on his head, gingerly climbed to his feet. His balance regained. He finally took his first good look around the room. Interesting room. And muttered to himself.
Where am I?
His pain momentarily forgotten in the face of the confusion of his circumstances, Junpei looked around the room once again. Minutes passed while Junpei struggled to regain his bearings. Then, as suddenly as they had began, the tremor ceased. A cold silence fell over the room. From somewhere far away, Junpei could hear the sound of metal squeaking. He felt his stomach tighten. There was 1,000 things that could have been, but none of the things he could think of were good. In an attempt to distract himself, Junpei looked around the room once more. How many times is he going to look around that room? There was a stove that looked more antique than functional. The 3-level bunk bed had mattresses that were so thin they were little more than blankets. On the other side of the room was an identical bed, and set in the wall between the beds was a slightly dirty iron door. The first thing Junpei noticed about the door was the number roughly emblazoned across it. On the surface of the door, in red paint, someone had written 5.
5? What's this 5 mean?
Suspicious and still utterly confused, Junpei approached the door slowly. Standing at least in front of the door, Junpei grabbed hold of the L-shaped handle. A push yielded no movement, and a pull the same result. A few more tries cemented the truth in Junpei's mind. It wouldn't open. It didn't matter how much he pushed and shoved, the handle wouldn't budge. Next to the door was an odd-looking device that reminded Junpei of a card reader. It didn't take a genius to figure out that the odd-looking device was keeping the door shut. Junpei knocked hard on the door.
Hey! Hello? Anyone there? Open the door!
There was no response. Junpei threw his left fist into the door. And stopped.
What the hell is this?
He wasn't really sure what else to say. On his left wrist was a bracelet of a sort he'd never seen before. In the center was a large LCD display. It looked like nothing else so much as a watch, but it clearly wasn't that. After all, it showed only a single number.
5. That's the same as the door.
True, the numbers were the same, but he had no idea what that would mean. All he knew was that it was strange and knew he wanted it off. Junpei flipped his hand over as if to remove the watch, but the other side of the bracelet was solid. No buckle, no clasp, nothing. He sighed and flipped the thing back over. There were a number of rivets around the rim of the surface. Perhaps... He pushed them, but nothing happened. On a watch, there might be dials for adjusting the date or time, but on this bracelet they did nothing. Junpei was at a loss. What was he going to do? Growing more desperate, he began to tug at it. However...
Damn! It's no good. Damn thing won't come off!
A steel ring ran from the face around Junpei's wrist and back into the face. He wouldn't be pulling off the bracelet. He wouldn't be pulling the bracelet off any time in the near future.
What the hell is the deal with this thing?
Frustration and desperation were beginning to mix as the reality of the situation began to dawn fully on Junpei. So much was happening and none of it made sense. Junpei felt as though he were about to explode.
Where am I? Why the hell am I here? Why? Why? What the hell happened to me?
It was at that moment that he noticed the window. The window was round.
Oh no, don't do this to me.
Oh crap. Sorry guys, we're having a ROM image crashing issue. No!
Okay.
Can we save from where we were?
No.
No! No!
Oh, right. That's why I switched. Okay. So, I initially tried this emulator, and it caused that problem. I switched to another emulator, and it caused another problem, being that sometimes it stutters a little bit. And then I completely forgot that this had that original problem. So let's suffer through a little stuttering.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Also, sorry if I screw up a little bit on the read back. The words are very, very, very tiny.
You can read it on this screen if it helps. They're a little larger.
I was. It was kind of like squinting.
Great start. Oops.
Hope the voice I chose was good enough. I was going for neglected librarian.
Well, the good news is it doesn't give us that annoying backlighting issue.
Okay.
Oh, right. Hopefully it's not going to hide anything. Technical difficulties of stream.
Yay!
It's not like I'm going to need anything on that bottom screen.
Can we skip a little bit? Does it allow you to
Hold
kind
on. Let me see if I can find the... I think it's tab to speed up.
It's not being a nice ROM. 5, 4, 3, 2. Wow, that's loud in my ears. So it's not letting you skip?
No.
Crap.
So I'll try to go through the dialogue as quickly as I can, but... Hey, recap time!
So there was a noise, and Junpei woke up, and his eyes snapped open, and he fell over.
Oh,
With a
that's
crack.
interesting.
His head connected with something metal. Rolled over. Tried to steady himself, but he was having a hard time. Finally got his balance. Everything was shaking. First he thought it was himself, but nah, it was the room.
Blasphemy, fuck!
He looked around the room once. And eventually, after not gaining his bearings, he would do it like 3 times. He apparently fell from a very high height. 3-level bunk bed. You don't find those very often. Apparently he hit his head on the ceiling. He might get one of those comical-sized bumps on it, too.
The ceiling?
Yeah. The whole room was shaking, but it wasn't an earthquake.
Or was it?
Or was it? Something was important. He doesn't really specify what was important.
The earthquake.
The earthquake. Earthquake is important. There was an antique stove.
Bemusement!
Bemusement. He's still struggling to gain his bearings. And then everything stopped shaking. And it was really weird when that happened. And then there was this weird squeaking that really weirded him out. Weirded him out so much, he had to look around the room again. Yeah, see? Stove. Not very impressive. Really, really, really cheap mattresses.
At least if you get cold, you can just put a mattress on yourself.
And then there were two sets and a door. And on the door was a special number.
I can count!
Now, he tried to grab the handle, and he pulled, and he pushed, and he yanked it, and he got really, 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 really upset. Started panicking, like any rational person should. Really, really ornate card reader over there. So, antique-like looking room, really high-tech card reader over there. So he starts knocking, and yelling.
I'm just being reasonable.
He tried to punch, but before he punched, he realized
Free watch!
New bling. Bling with digit on it.
Well, it looks like it's currently 5.
Yes.
Just 5.
Nothing else. Exactly 5. And it matched the door.
Maybe the door is a clock!
No. Don't you get it? It's 5-5. It's 5 past 5. Yeah. I agree, Hawk.
Why not both? Why can't it both be ancient and a naval ship?
Alright, so took it. However, damn, no good. Won't come off. He got really mad, had a temper tantrum.
Shock. This is dramatic irony.
And finally it occurred to him. Yup, this is serious business.
What the hell happened to me?
There we go.
Was it about here?
Yeah, right here. It was at that moment that he noticed the window. The window was round, rimmed in riveted brass, like a window from early 20th century ship.
What? Wait. Am I on a ship?
Junpei walked slowly toward the window. He could see nothing beyond it but thick, impenetrable darkness. Junpei squinted, trying to see something, anything. It was at that moment. Uh-oh.
What the? You gotta be kidding me! What the hell is going on here?
That no good. A crack split the glass of the window, and for a moment Junpei stared at it. Then the window burst and water began to pour into the room.
What the hell? God damn it!
Junpei yelled and spun around. His feet slipping on the water, already coming through the window, he ran for the door.
Hey, anyone! Is anyone there? Come on, if you're there, say something!
There was no reply. As Junpei screamed and pounded on the door, the water began to rise. It was now ankle deep on the floor and rising quickly toward his knees. Things were not looking good for Junpei. Not good at all. He needed to find a way out, and quickly. Junpei ran a hand across his forehead, brushing the sweat out of his eyes, and looked around the room. Seek a way out.
Now for the major gameplay component of this.
Okay.
Escape the room. So first things first, in any situation like this, you gotta click on all the things. Okay, I can see that I am missing my facing camera. That's gonna be interesting. Okay, during an escape, it's just the controls. Touch the bottom screen.
Is that a vent up there?
Where? Here?
Yeah, in the corner. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
that's just a gap in the pipes.
Okay.
I think. It might be a vent, actually. We'll check it out.
Touch the triangle button on the bottom of the screen. Doing so will change the view angle of the room and move you to different locations. You do the same thing by pressing left, right, down, and control panel. You'll need to search throughout the room to discover what you'll need to do to get out. Okay.
Okay, so first thing, let's save.
Yeah, don't want to have to do that again. I mean, it was fun, but, you know, their skip option is not that effective. Okay.
Okay, now check all the things. So,
We've got
got this.
about items during escape. We don't care. It's gonna tell you. Once you've obtained an item, you'll be able to go to that item screen. Use L to take item to screen. Investigate, hold, combine items you found. If you want to investigate the item you find, touch the icon for that item in the item screen. And then touch search. Ah,
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a problem.
lit.
I can't see the 3D model of the thing that I'm looking at.
Crap. Looks more than just a gap in pipes. Note the top edge is like.
One moment, please.
Oh, sorry guys. It looks like we can't actually look at our items the way we want.
This was working fine before. Pause that.
Okay.
Okay.
Just gonna do a bit of troubleshooting, everybody.
Stay frosty.
Frosty. While we wait, I asked Zare before, but does anybody actually know how old this game is?
It's a simple wiki check.
But
Hopefully you don't find too many spoilers as you do that.
Exactly. I'd rather they just, you know, tell me, interact with our nice audience. Bugs. Okay. Display method.
Oh, I think that might be it.
Okay.
That helped a little. We got buttons.
Yeah. Try like clicking on it, see if it. There we go.
Okay.
Sweet. Now we got it.
The stream is saved.
Yay!
2009.
Thank you, Hawk. Oh, here, even right there. OpenGL. Yeah.
No, it turns out that the 3D renderer was off.
Okay. Okay.
As far as bugs go, that's a pretty big one.
So it's a piece of paper.
And we got triangles and colors.
Okay. There's nothing on the other side.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put it out there that I have beaten this game before. Close to 8 years ago or something.
Okay.
So I might remember some tricks to this, but I'm still gonna fumble through the puzzles.
Okay.
Hopefully we're not gonna get stuck.
You think this actually has anything to do with it, or maybe something we'll have to use later?
Oh, I'm sure we'll use it.
Oh, I have no doubt we'll probably use it, but right now?
Arrowhead on the right.
Arrowhead
and
on the
left
right,
also.
no, also on the left also, lots of characteristic features.
Also.
Okay.
Selected, touching back will return you to the room. Investigation screen. So I'm holding the paper.
Okay. Saying, come on. Wow, there's a lot of functions to this. Oh, a picture of the ship, I think. Is there anything here?
Yeah, looks like a ship. We can combine it!
Really? Seriously?
Nothing.
No. I don't think so.
Okay.
Anything in the
Doesn't
Sink?
seem like there's anything hidden in the
sink?
sink. This is the only drain in this room. I don't think it's gonna work.
Nothing on
There's
top of the shelf.
This is Junpei. A bulletin board. There's nothing on it. It's the middle bunk. Thanks for that. Okay. Whatever it is, it's not clickable.
Oh.
It's a pipe. Oh, it wasn't Junpei speaking. It was Junpei thinking.
Yes.
I know. I'll crawl into the pipe and find a way out.
That's a little...
There's nobody here to make fun of my lame jokes. This sucks.
We know that the main character has a sense of humor. That's good.
Water just keeps pouring through the window. It's like a waterfall. I don't think shoving something into the window is going to stop the water. In other words, if I don't want to die, I need to find a way out of this room. I have to figure this out. That's a table. Water's pouring onto it like a little waterfall. I don't see anything useful there.
Bed?
There's a pair of simple chairs next to the table. The
Chairs.
water's already up to the chair.
Okay.
This is the door to the stove. Well, it opens easily enough. Sure wish the door to get out of here was that easy to open.
What's in here?
Well, that solves the mystery of whether or not this stove has been used before. What's this? It looks red.
Ah!
Well, the screwdriver got these screws off easily enough. And here's the picture.
Towel hanging to the right of the sink.
Take a look.
Was
I
that
have
one?
consumed a screwdriver to remove a picture from its frame.
Okay. I'll take two items you found and combine them. Yes, we will take the kettle on top of the stove and make a super kettle.
Two items can be combined. You'll receive a new item. Cannot be combined. Nothing will happen.
Okay. Oh, a key!
Well, let's see if there's anything in here. Huh, looks like there is. A key? Yeah, there's a little blue key in the bottom of this pot. Odd. Is that like the wrinkle fucker? Okay, so towel by the right of the sink. There's a towel next to the sink.
Yep. Doesn't let us take it, I guess. Oh, is that a briefcase or something?
I can keep looking till the cows come home. All I'm gonna find up here is that pillow.
A blue thing.
Damn it. Isn't there anything else I can use?
That. Oh.
No dice. It's locked tight.
If only you had a key.
Let's see if there's anything in the keyhole.
Oh, damn.
Alright, let's see what happens if I put this blue key in the keyhole. And nothing.
We need the code.
Guess we're gonna need some sort of code for the dial.
Mini games. touching the bottom of the screen, many years require you to manipulate something, while others will only require you to apply the right object or touch the right thing. Written instructions.
Okay, well, I got no clue on that. Damn it! Open, you stupid thing! I don't think it's gonna open if I whack it on the wall a couple of times. Might make me feel better. Not gonna help, though.
If only you could use a screwdriver to pry it.
Don't freak out. Keep it cool and look around for some more clues. Okay.
5.
5. 5, huh? What does that mean? Let's paint a big red 5 on the door. I guess that's the lever, huh? If I pull it. Oh, it looks like pulling on the lever just makes a weird noise. Great. Light's still red, and the display hasn't changed. Damn it. Why the hell isn't this thing opening? Okay, so we spun around the room.
Okay. Is there anything on our bunk?
Oh, wait, hold on. Since we opened that up...
Yeah. What's the note?
On the back.
Ah! Okay. Oh, boy.
It's so hard to rotate things in 3D space.
Okay, so... Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so we've got bottom left 1, top left 2, top right 3, bottom right 4, square 5. So starting from the bottom left, going clockwise.
6.
And it's the same thing filled for 6, 7, 8, 9, 0.
Okay, so it's 6, 1... what was the other triangle look like? 6, 1...
The triangles and the squares match up.
What? But don't the different colored shapes? Yeah. Don't those mean certain numbers?
Okay, so this should then be 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Isn't
that a 1?
4.
4.
6. 3. 7, 4, 6, 3.
7, 4, 6, 3. Oh.
Alright, what's that off to the left of the door and the right of the bed? Oh, yeah. Good eye.
Ooh. Ooh! Yay! Junpei grabbed the key and shoved it into his pocket. He intended to leave this place immediately, but something stopped him. His reflection stared back at him from the mirror, but he scarcely recognized himself.
What's up with my face?
His confusion was well justified. His face was drawn and pale, and the dark circles under his eyes made him look as though he was nearly dead.
Man, what the hell happened to me? How did I end up here?
Even as he said it, something in his mind opened. A memory bobbed to the surface. It was the last thing Junpei remembered before waking up in the strange room. It was past midnight when he came home. Junpei shuffled up the stairs and opened the door to apartment 201.
Seriously, water pouring in, not the time.
Right? Please excuse me. I'm going to have a flashback right now. Inside was his apartment. A small one-bedroom affair that ran him about $630 a month. Oh, that's not bad. He moved into it when he entered college, and so far he'd been there for 3 years and 7 months. He stepped inside and turned on the lights. The fluorescent lights on the ceiling blinked and flickered slowly to life, as if waking from a deep slumber. Their cold light illuminated the landscape he'd come home to so many times before. Everything was as he'd left it. The magazines piled up in the corner, the old textbooks collecting dust, the CD cases covering the floor, the jeans and t-shirt he'd worn all day before, then tossed onto the floor. There was one thing that didn't belong, however. There was a breeze. Breaths of cold night air wafted into his apartment, carrying the smells of autumn with them. The white curtain framing his window swayed gently in the wind. Huh? That's weird. Did I leave that door open? Junpei walked towards the window, trying to remember if he'd closed it or not, before he left. One of the panes was hanging open. He stuck his head out and looked around. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Junpei shrugged. He must have just left it open earlier. He closed the window. Then it happened. Junpei turned and found himself face to
mask.
Face to mask, okay. It is written that way, okay. With a man dressed all in black. The man wore a deep hood and a bulky gas mask. His face was entirely hidden. Junpei tried to scream, but all he could manage was a strangled croak. He tried to step toward the man, but his legs could no longer support his weight. Junpei collapsed to the ground, a crumpled heap of limbs like a discarded puppet. Too late, he noticed the white smoke that quickly filled his apartment. A small object shaped distressingly like a grenade sat on the floor in front of his face, hissing. The white smoke poured out of it at an incredible rate. The smoke had grown so thick that the details of Junpei's apartment began to fade into the white haze. He could feel his mind begin to fade as well, as a white haze that was not the smoke creeping into the edges of his vision.
Consider this a privilege. You have been chosen.
A rasping voice wormed its way out of the gas mask. It was cold and harsh, and distorted in some way Junpei couldn't put his finger on.
You are going to participate in a game. The Nonary game. It is a game where you will put your life on the line.
That was the last thing Junpei remembered. The white smoke overpowered him. The masked man faded from his vision, and he felt his consciousness fall away into the white mist.
That's right. That guy with the gas mask.
Hello, Daigod.
Diego.
Daigod.
Diego. Welcome to the stream. Die God.
Hey, some people do it like that.
Yeah, I can see it. That son of a bitch must have taken me here.
As to who the man was, or might have been, Junpei had no idea. Indeed, he wasn't even sure that his assailant had been that man. The voice had been cold and mechanical, likely passed through a voice changer, and the body had been covered in a thick cloak. Who was the man in the mask? You have been chosen. Junpei remembered that much, but what it might mean, that was beyond him. Junpei had no idea where he was or why he was there. There was only one thing from his memory that seemed important.
You are going to participate in a game. The Nonary game. It is a game where you will put your life on the line.
A nonary game, huh? What the hell is a nonary game? God damn it!
With a yell, Junpei drove his fist into the mirror. That's smart.
Well, maybe it was a little more forceful than that.
There's nothing with
Left
the
over.
mirror.
Okay.
Okay. So we have the code, right? Totally a stove.
Totally a stove. Nothing inside, though. Yeah.
Water's getting a little higher.
I'll be fine.
So, we had the... Okay.
So, I can't wrap around. 7. 4,
Oh, I see what's upside down. Okay.
6. 3.
7163. Okay.
Guess I'm gonna have to find the right 4 numbers. Alright, let's give this another try. I don't need this, I know.
We know. We got it. Seven, 4, 6, 3.
No.
No. So was it the other way around?
I think we're missing something. Oh, that's the top screen. A blue briefcase on top of that. You're at the middle bunk. There's nothing useful here.
Nothing on yours?
There's a pipe at the other end of this bed. There's nothing up top.
Possibly.
There's another set of beds, though.
Should we try a different key later? Oh. There's another one.
Memo. Okay. Can't bring myself to call this a bed. It feels like a board with a sheet on it. It's pretty flat. Well, I can reach this bunk. Might as well look through it. Huh. Damn. Nothing here. I've got it. If I pull these sheets and shove them into the window, maybe that'll stop the water.
What the fuck?
Alright, window. Let's see how you like this.
Are you
Shoot.
serious?
That's not gonna happen. There's way too much water coming through there. No way these sheets are going to be enough to plug up that window. There's only one way I'm going to live through this.
Yeah, I know, right?
And that's by getting the hell out of this room. After all, there's not really anything else I can do. Okay, so I think I know what I need to do here. Open it up. We got the blue key in there. And
Okay.
I want to check these items. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we've got one which is left side blue, right side red. One that's left side red, right side blue. So let's combine them. So that should be 0, 2, 6, 3.
Okay. Yeah, we know. You don't have to tell us every time. Okay. Okay. Oh. All right.
All right, let's see if those numbers worked. Turn the key in. Hey, looks like it's working. Yes! All right, let's open it up.
Red.
Yes! It opened. Looks like there's something in here. What is this? A file?
A red file.
File screen. Am I going to go to the game jam? I'm going to try, and I don't know any reasons why I wouldn't at this point. Thanks for the invite. Inside the file screen, select files by touching them or by pressing Control Pad. Alright, let's see what's in this file. Digital root. Let's see here. Compute a digital root with the following steps. First, add all the numbers in question to one another. If you end up with something greater than a single-digit number, add the digits to one another. For instance, if you have a double-digit number, add the number in the tens place to the number in the ones place. Keep adding digits in this manner until you have a single-digit answer. The final single digit is your digital root. Digital root of 678 would be 6 plus 7 plus 8 is 21, and 2 plus 1 equals 3. Therefore, the digital root of 678 is 3. Digital root of 1, 2, 3, 4 would be 10 to 1 to 1.
1.
Therefore, the digital root of 1, 2, 3, 4 is 1. I see. So I just keep adding numbers until I get a single-digit number. Oh, looks like there's something on the back of this thing. A notebook, a pen, a calculator, a stack of key cards. Huh.
Ooh. Oh, looky, looky. Really? Okay.
So those aren't terribly interesting. I don't have anything else. Oh, that gives you hints. The material has been added to the file screen. Calculator! Calculator screen can be used during an escape or during a novel sequence. During an escape, you can access it by pressing the Y. This will open the calculator screen. To operate the calculator, touch the bottom screen. When using the calculator, the numbers on top are your calculations, and the numbers on the bottom are your answer. Calculator can also calculate a digital route, which will be important to the progression of the story. From what I remember, you do not actually ever need the calculator. But it is helpful if you're going to do some theory crafting or anything of the sort.
Yeah. Why? Because why math?
Okay, this just looks like it's a recap of all the tutorials it's been forcing down my throat.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so I've got key cards. How do I cycle through?
I don't see the water rising, but I imagine we probably have a set time limit.
You actually don't. You can take as long as you need.
Really? Wow. Okay. And here I thought we honestly were racing against time right now.
These cards with numbers on them. I'm pretty sure this is where I'm supposed to use them. Alright, let's slide this card and see if it works. And...
It?
Huh? It's not working. Why? Damn it! I need some other cards to get this to work.
You got 3.
I need to find more cards now.
Oh, really?
Okay, where are more cards? That pipe's not very big. There's no way I could fit into it, even if it does lead out of here. Water's still pouring onto it.
Check under all the other beds, maybe?
There's some pipes down on the other end of the bed.
Hellos. Can we actually, like, take a chair and smash this mirror?
Not sure what that would do.
Combine chair with mirror!
Oh, speaking of which, we'll see if there is anything we should be combining. Nope. Hey, let mirror show us anything interesting? Doesn't look like it.
How?
What am I missing?
Can you look behind that thing?
This thing is a piece of junk. I won't be draining any water here, I guess.
Oh.
Decorative knobs. Oh, what's this?
What? Oh my gosh! It looked like part of the wall!
Let's just ignore the cool thing and look at the hangers on the pole.
Okay.
It's just like the blue briefcase. Yeah, there's a lock on this one too, and it's not opening.
Put the red in there.
Alright, let's stick that red key in there. It's not opening. Alright, I take that back. I guess I can move the dial now. So it looks like I'm going to have to put in the right numbers and then turn the key. Do that? This thing should pop right open. Let's give it a shot.
Alright.
Seriously?
We know! Jeez! Okay.
But I don't have the code in front of me, so we're going to have to go through that again.
Yep. They gotta really hammer that into you there.
Put the right numbers and turn the key.
Okay.
So that is 7. That's 4.
Okay.
That is 8 and 5. 7, 4, 8, 5.
Okay.
So one of the things I really love about this game is the job that Access did localizing it. For instance, this puzzle has an entirely different combination in the Japanese version because it's a different puzzle.
Okay.
So it actually is a puzzle involving katakana and a similar cipher, but...
5.
5?
Yeah.
But that doesn't translate well. Yes! I unlocked it.
Yay!
It's opening.
And more
There's
cards.
a stack of red key cards in the briefcase.
Yay! No. Just...
Okay, well, I've got 1, and I'm going to assume that's 2, 3, and then 6. Key cards. There's a number on each one. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Gotta make sure I close that curtain when I leave. Not
Don't want to be
barbarian.
rude.
Damn it, not again! I need more cards in here. I only got one other hint. Of course, the files!
The
Files
files!
said something about digital root. Digital root. Digital root, huh? What am I supposed to do with...
5 on the
There's
door.
a 5 on that door. I have to get a digital root of 5? I'm not really sure about this. Whatever, it's worth a shot. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna slide the cards that give me the digital root of 5 through the reader. There's 3 cards to select them. Digital root of the selected cards will be displayed on the top screen. You can reset with deselect all of them.
Okay.
Okay, so to get a digital root, we could get 5, but we can't get 3 cards to combine into 5. Our best bet would be 6, so let's look at 14. So we've got 8, and then we could do 3 and 2, yeah. I miscounted.
No.
Oh, the music's really chugging now. It's not working. Yeah. 7 plus 6 plus 1.
We get it.
Yeah. I heard it chugging, so I backed out because I wanted to save. And I'm going to get in here anyways. So, all that time wasted.
Yeah.
Alright, I think this is going to work. There we go, that's a new noise.
Bam, 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 bam. Alright.
Huh. Did it just unlock? Oh, the light was red, now it's blue. No doubt about it. There's nothing keeping me in here now. Time to go.
Except maybe the weight of the water against the door.
Opens out.
Ooh, that's loud. You found it!
I found it.
Accompanied by a wall of angry water, Jinpei shot out of the room and into the opposing wall. Gasping to catch his breath, he looked around. He was in a narrow hallway. The water that had followed him out of the room was rapidly pouring out of the door. It flowed quickly down the hallway and slammed into the front of the short flight of stairs. Just 5 steps, in fact.
There's that 5.
And at the top of this short staircase...
A door! Another door!
Junpei leapt up the stairs straight for the door. The door burst open, and Junpei exploded out of it only to freeze in his tracks. What other possible response could there have been to what he saw?
What the hell?
His voice trailed off, and all he could do was stare. Are we in the Titanic or something? A polished floor stretched out before him, ornate staircases rising up from the edges, each one of them
Equidistant.
Thank you. Equidistant from each other. Wow, that's a new one. The stairs and pillars were solid wood, and Art Nouveau embellishments and decorations covered the walls and pillars. It looked like nothing so much as the entrance to a luxurious mansion from the early 1900s. Junpei couldn't help but wonder. Was he really in a ship? The water quickly filling the hallway behind him suggested that yes, he was. As he looked, a fresh wave rolled out of the room he'd been in, gathering speed as it moved toward the stairs.
Yeah, that's what I thought. This is totally a Wait, what the hell? A wave? Shit! I gotta get out of here!
Junpei spun around, his wet shoes squeaking in protest on the polished floor, and ran towards the tremendous staircase in front of him. C-deck. Yeah. I totally agree, Hawk. I watched way too much Titanic to not recognize that particular staircase. As he ran, he glanced quickly at the plates mounted on the wall, denoting the decks of the ship. He took the stairs 2 at a time, not entirely sure where he would find himself. Just as he began to wonder where, in fact, the stairs did lead. Looky. Junpei saw another person out of the corner of his eye. He stopped short, nearly tripping over the next stair, and looked. It wasn't just a person he'd seen. On the landing to the left of the stairs, there were 4 people staring at him. And on the right, 3 more. All told, there were 7 of them.
Math!
It looked as though they'd been on their way down the stairs. They'd stopped short when they saw Junpei, their eyes wide. He'd done the same, of course, and now they stood staring at one another. Junpei didn't move, one foot placed awkwardly on the next step in the middle of a stride. Who were these people? This entire interaction lasted only a matter of seconds. The woman spoke to Junpei, and time began to move again. I guess there's another one of us now. The woman was dressed, Junpei thought, rather like a dancer. Her clothes covered very little, and her prodigious jewelry a little more. Hey, you! Come on! Hurry! With no further ceremony, she ran straight past Junpei and towards the doors behind him. The sudden proximity of a woman with such striking assets left Junpei momentarily stunned. But the others wasted no time and quickly followed the strange woman. The first to pass Junpei was a young man with silver hair. He threw a quick glance in Junpei's direction as he ran, muttering,
One of us, huh?
Following him was an older man, his face calm and without fear. Soft wrinkles sprouted from his eyes, and he came close enough as he passed for Junpei to see the wisps of gray in his hair. His composure and shock of hair struck Junpei as rather like that of an elderly lion.
Going up won't do you any good. There are 2 doors, but neither of them will open.
The next to speak was a girl with pink hair and a high voice. Come on! Aren't you coming? You gotta hurry! Her small hand wrapped around the wrist of another man. His eyes were closed, almost as though he were sleeping. His features were graceful, almost serene. And he was dressed rather elegantly for someone his age. Something about his posture seemed very refined, and Junpei couldn't help the feeling he was noble and dignified somehow. He'd certainly never seen one, but this man seemed like what Junpei had always imagined a prince would be like.
That's 9 of us, then. All the cards are in one hand.
What does all the cards in one hand mean, he wondered.
Injecting more math than I need to.
Junpei opened his mouth to ask what the other man had meant, but the girl with pink hair rushed past him and they were gone. He turned just in time to see two more people running toward him. One of them had hair like a bird's nest and looked as though a stiff breeze might topple him. And the other was a veritable mountain of a man. The scrawny one said nothing and scuttled past Junpei as though he were running from something.
Hey, what the hell are you just standing there for? Didn't you hear him? The doors on A deck are no good. We gotta check the doors on B deck. Got it? Now go!
Before he had a chance to respond, the man laid a massive hand on Junpei's shoulder. With no more effort than Junpei would have used to brush aside a fly, the man shoved him out of the way.
Whoa!
Thrown off balance by the man in recent events, it took Junpei a few steps to get his bearings. He finally regained his balance and looked up at what the other 7 had been running toward. There were 2 pairs of iron doors set into the wall in front of him. They looked quite sturdy and each had handles jutting from them. Written across the surface of each door in red paint was a number. The door on the right had a 4. And the door on the left had a 5.
They're the same.
The guy Junpei had decided to call Silver was mumbling to himself.
The room I woke up in had a number on the door just like that. You too, eh?
With an arched eyebrow, the lion looked over at Silver.
My cell's the same. Number upon the door. I opened it, ran down the hallway outside, and found myself in the rather grand room full of stairs, as I suspect did the rest of you.
It was as though the floodgates had been opened. They all began to talk at once. Me too. I did too. Yeah, the door with a number on it. It soon became clear that each one of them had woken in a room with a locked door and solved a puzzle to escape. They all ended up in the same room, almost as though they'd been guided there. Yes, we all saw the same thing. That's not important. We need to hurry.
You think I don't know that, lady?
Before the dancer had time to finish, Silver was already running. He grabbed hold of the door labeled 5 and pulled. However...
Fuck! It's not opening. This damn thing won't even budge.
Move. You're in the way.
The mountain grabbed Silver's shoulder and tossed him aside. His path cleared, he took a few steps back and threw himself at the door. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. The door shook as his body slammed into it, but showed no signs of breaking or opening.
One more.
The man threw himself at the door again.
Oh, he did.
Junpei turned towards door 4. Next to the door on the wall was a small box. It looked like the one that he'd seen in his room next to the door. If it was the same, then this door was likely locked as well. Still, he had to check. Junpei grabbed a handle and threw all his weight into it. It was locked as tight as the door next to it, as he had suspected.
Hey, mountain guy, try breaking down the wall instead of the door. Like it's only made of wood.
You're a genius, Hawk. Junpei punched the door, but did not respond. Were these the only doors, he wondered? He'd barely finished the thought when the C deck plate he passed on his way up sprang, unbidden, into his mind. His body moved before he had time to think. Junpei turned and ran back toward the stairs. He had scarcely taken a step when, at the top of the stairs, next to an ornate clock embedded in the wall, he saw a person. It was a girl. She looked to be the same age as Junpei. He froze, unable to look away from her face. He wasn't confounded by her beauty or something equally silly. No, there was another reason he couldn't take his eyes off the girl. Junpei had seen her somewhere before. He couldn't quite remember where, but he knew. He knew he'd met her before. The girl, too, stared at Junpei, similarly stunned. Her response suggested that she'd seen him before as well. Without saying a word, Junpei walked slowly toward her. She didn't move. It was almost as though she was held in place by some sort of magic spell. As Junpei stopped onto her landing, the spell broke. No sooner had he set his foot down than the whole ship shook a second time. Ah! The quake caught the girl unprepared, and she fell! Snapped her neck. It's like, no. Moving on instinct, Junpei leapt to catch her. Or so he thought. Ooh, they died horribly. Her face was far closer than it should have been, mere inches from his own. He was flat on his back, and she had landed squarely on top of him. The girl seemed confused as he did, and her face suggested she still hadn't fully recovered from seeing him. For a moment, what seemed to stretch for a very long time, they stared at one another. The ship stopped shaking. Everything was quiet. Water could be heard from the bottom of the ship, lapping faintly at walls and ceilings, but eventually that faded as well. What the hell? The silence was complete, a thick, muffling blanket. At last, the girl opened her mouth. Oh my gosh! Is that you, Junpei? Junpei? Junpei. Her words echoed through Junpei's head, and suddenly his memory returned.
Akane?
Oh boy. Why hadn't he realized it before? The girl was Akane Kurashiki. Kurashiki?
Yeah.
Okay. She and Junpei had been friends in childhood. They'd gone to elementary school together for 6 years. But what was she doing on the ship? Her soft eyes were only inches away from his own. He could feel the warmth of her face. Feelings he thought long forgotten began to work their way to the surface. He could feel his face heating up. At that moment, a speaker cracked to life, and a cold, eerie voice filled the room.
Welcome aboard. I welcome you all from the bottom of my heart to this, my vessel.
With the voice's invasion, the spell between Junpei and Akane was broken, and all hints of burgeoning romance instantly forgotten. They hurriedly untangled themselves from one another and struggled to their feet. Their 7 companions had heard the voices as well, and many of their faces had gone pale. They looked around frantically, desperate to locate the source of the voice. At least they found it. A speaker set in the ceiling.
I am Zero, the captain of this ship. I am also the person who invited you here.
The voice was harsh, obscured occasionally by the crackle of static. But Junpei recognized it. How could he have forgotten it? It was the same voice he heard the man in the he heard from the man in the gas mask.
Hey, asshole. What the hell is this? Come on out of here. I want to get a look at you. What do you mean to do to us?
I mean to have you participate in a game. Some of you, I know, are familiar with this game. The Nonary game. It is a game where you will put your life on the line.
The Nonary game?
What the hell's that?
The voice continued, inflexible.
The rules of the Nonary game can be found upon your persons. They are simple rules. Read them.
Nonary game?
Hey, there's something in my pocket. Check this out.
Silver reached into his pocket and pulled out a small slip of paper. The rest of them reached into their own pockets and pulled out similar slips of paper. Junpei followed suit and dug into the pocket of his pants. He felt the telltale crumple of paper, slightly damp from his earlier ordeal.
Hey, I got one too. It would seem Zero has seen fit to grace us each with a letter. Would you mind terribly reading it to us, young man?
I can't read. His request had been delivered to Junpei, who, after a short moment of surprise, did as he has been asked.
On this ship, you will find a handful of doors emblazoned with numbers. We will call them the numbered doors. The doors in front of you are a pair of the same. The key to opening these numbered doors are the numbered bracelets that each of you possess. Should you total the numbers on your numbered bracelets, you find that the digital root of that number is equal to the number of that door, the door will open. Only those who have opened the door may pass through. There are, however, limits. Only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door. All those who enter must leave, and all who enter must contribute.
Bracelet. Junpei figured had to mean the bulky thing on his wrist. He glanced around. It looked like everyone else had one as well, and had come to much the same conclusion.
The purpose of the game is simple. Leave this ship alive. It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
Junpei had reached the end of his letter. There was a long moment of silence, and then the speaker cracked to life. The speaker crackled to life once more.
There is one last thing I must tell you. As you have no doubt surmised, this ship has begun to sink. On April 14th, 1912, the famous ocean liner Titanic crashed into an iceberg.
Call it!
After remaining afloat for 2 hours and 40 minutes, it sank beneath the waters of the North Atlantic. I will give you more time. 9 hours. That is the time you will be given to make your escape.
The voice finished, and the speaker went silent. The sound of a bell tolling echoed through the hall. It came from the dance hall adjacent to the stairwell. It took those assembled on the stairs mere moments to trace the sound to an antique clock embedded in the wall. 7, 8, 9. The sound of the 9th bell faded away. The 10th never came. That meant the time was 9 o'clock. Most likely 9 o'clock in the evening. When Junpei had peered out the window of his cell, he'd seen nothing but blackness. It had to be nighttime. If that was the case, then they would need to escape by 6 a.m. the following day.
Now, it is time. Let our game begin. I wish you all the best of luck.
The speaker went silent and did not speak again. Silver yelled at the speaker with language coarse enough to embarrass a sailor, but the rest of Junpei's companions were silent, deep in thought. Junpei, too, was consumed by his thoughts. There was a great deal he didn't understand. Who was Zero? What was the Nonary game? Why had he been chosen to take part in it? Was he a criminal who took delight in playing with his victims? Or did he have some other purpose? And why had Junpei been chosen as part of this insane game? Why had any of them been chosen? But one question was foremost on his mind. Akane. They hadn't seen one another since elementary school. Why had she appeared now? Coincidence? No, that seemed impossible. There had to be a reason. He didn't know what it might be, but there had to be a reason.
Very well.
Lion's voice seemed oddly loud in the silence.
Standing around here won't do us any good. Best we get moving, don't you think?
Get moving?
Are you planning to open the numbered doors? Hey, wait. Don't tell me you're actually going to do this. What the zero says.
No, that's not what I meant.
The lion shook his head, mildly annoyed.
I'm saying, let's find another way. After all, we haven't really examined this place yet.
Wait, what? Dot.
Ellipses.
Lots of ellipses. I've seen that clock. Their separate investigations finished, all 9 people returned to where they had left one another. The result of all their work was nothing. They were all completely sealed in. Their hard work had not gone completely to waste, however. They had learned a number of things. They had scoured the parts of the ship they could reach. It seems that they were confined to decks A through C. C deck was as far down as they were able to go, however. The reason being that D deck was completely submerged.
Good reason.
Yep. Strangely, however, the water had risen no higher than D deck. The flow seemed to have stopped somehow, as evidenced by the surface of the water on D deck, which was smooth as glass. The prince knelt down and gently drew his hand across it.
Perhaps this Zero fellow has used some sort of remote control to seal a watertight door lower down. He said that our time limit was 9 hours. In other words, this water won't rise for 9 hours.
Then you're saying we won't sink till then?
Well, that may be a little too optimistic. No point to wishful thinking.
There were 3 metal doors on C deck. A single door stood off to the side with 2 more on the wall facing the central staircase. None of them had numbers or verification devices. They were, however, locked, like the other doors. No matter how much they pushed and shoved, the doors refused to move. The mountain and the lion threw themselves against them a few times, but to no avail. The door in the back had a keyhole. Just above it was a strange mark in the shape of a circle surrounding a dot.
It's the alchemical sun.
Ah! There were 2 other doors on C deck as well, but it was clear they were elevators, as each had a button next to it with an upside-down triangle. They tried pushing the button. No response. However, apparently there was no power running to the elevators. To the left of the elevator doors was a card reader. The card reader also had a strange mark on it. Oh, another alchemic sign.
I don't remember which planet that is. It's a planet.
Yeah, it's a planet. It looked like a lowercase h with a dash drawn across the upper stem of the H. Saturn? No.
One of the outer centuries.
One of the outer rim ones. So it's anywhere Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Saturn. One of them. Okay. Junpei stared at it for a while. There! Yeah! Saturn! This is the symbol of Saturn. It's an astrological symbol. Then...
And the mark on the other door.
I think that was the sun symbol. They had seen the same symbols on A deck.
Hawk thinks it's an eyeball.
There was a door on either side of the stairs.
Maybe the Planck constant.
The one on the left had a keyhole in a similar symbol engraved on it. This is the Earth symbol. The horizontal line symbolizes the equator, and the vertical line represents the prime meridian. Junpei looked up at the ceiling. There was a great circle cut into it, perhaps for a skylight or a glass dome, but it had been filled with a gargantuan metal plate. The metal looked very solid. Anything short of an explosive charge was unlikely to damage it. There were several windows along both sides of the ship, or at least there had been. They too were covered with metal plates. In other words,
we're trapped. All the exits go nowhere.
Junpei was not happy. The girl with pink hair spoke up.
Well, I'm sure they go somewhere. We just can't open them.
Then the mountain spoke.
You don't know that. For all we know, they just open the walls and take us in circles.
The prince did not agree.
No, I'm sure they go somewhere. Otherwise, what point would there be? And we can open them. Well, 2 of them at least.
Hmm.
You mean the numbered doors?
Yeah, Hawk, you're right.
Junpei, if only you had brought the screwdriver with you.
He ate it, okay?
I think those are probably riveted in, though, not screws. Don't usually use your standard Phillips screw to bolt in steel plates.
All eyes turned towards the doors with numbers on them. The atmosphere in the room grew tense. Hey, wait a minute.
And then you would have 9 hours to take one metal plate off the window. Moving on.
I think I said this earlier, but I don't think we should do that. The dancer moved in front of one of the doors as if to block them. We have to be crazy to open these doors. If we do that, we're doing exactly what Zero wants us to do. Suddenly, everyone began to speak at once. I agree. I don't. That's a terrible idea. We shouldn't keep going. We should stay here. We don't have any other way to open any of these doors. We should just wait. Someone's bound to come and find us.
We don't have any time for that.
She is a dancer, after all, Brian. In 8.5 hours, this ship is gonna sink. The clamor of voices made it next to impossible to determine who was saying what. Their arguments grew more and more intense until people were shouting and screaming at each other. Junpei had remained silent, but at last he could take no more.
Hey! Shut up!
They fell silent. All eyes turned to Junpei. He felt each stare burning into him, but he refused to flinch.
Before we try and decide where we're going to go, there's something else we ought to do.
What's that?
We need to exchange information. We don't know anything about each other. I want to know who you guys are. Who you are, where you came from, why you ended up here. Don't tell me you aren't curious, too.
They were silent. Some of them looked the other way, or bit their lip, or crossed their arms and stared at the ceiling. But one of them spoke up. It was Akane. I agree. I think Junpei is right.
Junpei?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about him. I just call him Junpei. His name is Junpei. She pointed towards Junpei. We're childhood friends. We went to the same elementary school.
Wait, stop! Don't tell us stuff we didn't ask you about. Zero's probably watching us right now. What are you gonna do if he's listening in?
Would that be bad?
Hell yeah, it would! We don't know how much that bastard knows about us. Maybe you just picked a bunch of random people to kidnap. If that is the case, then it'd be dangerous for us to let him know too much. Zero knows who we are. He could go after our families. Maybe he'd tell us he had him to get us to do stuff, you know?
But we still need to know what our names are. It's gonna be hard to talk to each other if we don't have names.
Alright. Why don't we have code names?
To him, apparently, it seemed like the obvious solution. Code names?
Yeah, we each pick something. Like, I'll be 7.
7? Why are you 7? Oh, wait, that was Junpei.
Oh, sorry. 7? Why are you 7?
It seemed like a fair question. The mountain stuck out his left arm.
Because this bracelet number says 7.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, that's a good idea.
He smirked.
Alright, I'm gonna be Santa.
What?
So I'm going to cut in and out here about localization. Each of these guys had different names in Japanese, and they had to be localized so that English people could, understand them, and this was a coherent story. 7 was named 7,
Okay.
and Santa was named Santa.
Okay.
These ones were easy. But they named them these for the same reasons they're going to give here.
Okay.
Any chumps know Japanese? No? Well, san means 3. So I'll be Santa. You know, like Santa Claus. Fits, don't you think? And your bracelet number. Yeah, it's got a 3 on it. Good job, Grandpa.
Like the mountain had done, Silvers thrust out his left hand. Sure enough, the face of his bracelet read 3.
Very well then. I'll go next, shall I? My bracelet number is 1. Given that, I think Ace seems appropriate.
I'll be Lotus then. As I'm sure you all know, it has 8 petals.
Alright, so Ace was originally called Ichimiya, which is a city. It's not particularly amazing. But Ichi, coming from 1.
1. Yeah.
And Lotus here was known as Yashiro, which is another name, which is not terribly interesting, but it started with Ya for 8.
Ah. Which, of course, that my bracelet number is. 8.
I'd appreciate it if you would call me Snake.
What?
So in Japanese, he went by the name of Niels. Ni being Japanese for 2, but also he chose the name out of a well-known physicist that he respected.
Ah.
My bracelet number is 2. Since Ace has chosen cards, then I choose dice. Snake eyes, clearly. Which is particularly relevant, given that I am blind.
Ah, I knew it! Blind? Really? He kept his eyes closed during their entire ordeal, which had suggested something strange, but to hear it said so casually, it was something of a surprise. Everyone seemed a little nervous at the prince's proclamation, but no one seemed to know how to react to it. There was one person, however, who didn't seem to be surprised in the least. The girl with pink hair.
I want to be Clover.
This name is very fitting because her Japanese name was Yotsuba. Yotsu being 4, and also Yotsuba meaning 4-leaf, generally in reference to a clover.
Ah. You know, like a 4-leaf clover. Good luck, right?
Looking almost bored, she held out her left hand. The face of her bracelet showed the number 4. They'd come around to Junpei. He held out his bracelet.
Alright, my number's 5, so my code name is gonna be...
Why have one? It's not like there's any point to it now. The dancer cut him off in mid-sentence. I mean, we all know your name already. You're Junpei.
Oh.
They all nodded. Akane stepped forward nervously. Then, should you call me by my name too? Because, I mean, it doesn't seem...
Doesn't seem fair to Junpei.
You're thinking it's not cool for you to hide your name after you told us his?
Akane fidgeted awkwardly. Junpei decided he had to do something.
What's your bracelet number?
It's 6. She hesitated for a moment, then held out her left hand. As she claimed, the bracelet's face showed a 6. Junpei looked at it for a moment and thought.
Alright then. Why don't we call you June?
June? Oh, sorry.
June?
Yeah, you know. It's the 6th month of the year. So her Japanese name was Murasaki. Mu being 6, and Murasaki being purple, in reference to the clothes she's wearing. So you're June.
Junpei?
Akane kneaded her hands and looked up at Junpei uncertain. He smiled back at her reassuringly.
Are you good with that?
She thought about it for a few more minutes, then seemed to come to a decision that gave Junpei a small nod. Their names decided, Junpei ran over them quickly in his head. 1 was Ace. 2 was Snake. 3 was Santa. 4 was Clover. 5 was Junpei's number. Akane was 6, and Junpei had given her the code name of June. 7 was 7. And 8 was Lotus. That meant that 8 of them, including Junpei, had revealed their bracelet numbers. But there was still one person left. He was the man with the glasses and hair like a bird's nest. He hadn't said anything since they met on the stairs, and he didn't look like the sort of person who was inclined to conversation. His skin was pale, his breathing was heavy, he was soaked in nervous sweat. His behavior seemed very suspicious, or perhaps simply emotionally unstable. It was difficult to tell. Whatever the case, it seemed clear that he had only a fingertip's worth of a grip on his sanity. The girl with pink hair, Clover, walked up to him slowly. She put her hands on her hips and eyed him suspiciously.
What number are you?
He didn't answer. His bloodshot eyes twitched from person to person, and his breath came in hot pants.
I'm talking to you!
The man licked his dry lips with a shaking tongue and spoke with a voice like old paper.
Isn't it obvious? There are 9 people here. And you know who numbers 1 through 8 are. I'm the only one left.
So you're 9?
Yeah.
He extended a trembling arm. The bracelet did indeed say 9. Clover looked at it contemptuously.
What's your code name?
Code name?
What do you want us to call you? We all made up names. You should too.
I don't need one.
Why not?
Because I'm not going to stay here with you.
He took a stuttering breath and exhaled. Clover looked at him with something very like disgust.
You got some sort of plan?
I do.
Yeah, what's that?
You sure you want to know?
Yeah?
All right. Let me show you.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to do this!
What the hell? By the time they realized what he was doing, it was too late to stop him. The man's body moved like a snake's. In the blink of an eye, he had slid around behind her and wrapped his arm around her waist.
Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Silver, or Santa, leapt forward toward Clover and the ninth man. He was halfway there when...
Stay back!
Suddenly, the man's hand dove into his pocket. Oh, shit. It came back out with a knife. A pocket knife. He held it to Clover's pale, quivering neck.
You get any closer, I'll cut her open.
Oh, shit. Santa skidded to a halt. He snarled at the scrawny man with the knife and gritted his teeth.
Yes, that's right.
The man's smile was neither friendly nor reassuring. Sweat poured down his neck, soaking the collar of his shirt.
Clover, are you all right?
The Prince Snake's voice sounded oddly concerned.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Her voice shook, making her words seem less convincing.
What the hell are you trying to do? I told you. This is my plan.
What are you gonna do to her, you sick son of a bitch?
Don't worry. I'm not going to do anything to her. If she just does what I tell her to, I'll let her go.
He started to move backward, slowly, keeping his grip on Clover. Keeping their distance, Junpei and the others followed. Eventually, the man reached the wall. He gave a start as his back touched it, then glanced around quickly and spoke.
Verify!
Huh?
The left. Look on your left. Do you see the device on the wall? Place your hand on the scanner panel. The round part.
What if I don't?
The man's nostrils flared and he looked like he was about to choke.
Are you an idiot? What do you think? I could slit your throat right now! I'll kill you if I have to! All I need is your bracelet! Just do it! Do it now!
He pressed the knife against Clover's neck hard. Slowly, she stretched her left hand out towards the device. Her back was to it, and she had to feel around for a moment before she found the circular panel. It made a cold electronic noise, and on the display above her hand, an asterisk appeared. So that's how it works, Junpei thought to himself. By placing one's palm on what the ninth man had called the scanner panel, the user's bracelet would be entered into the device.
So you total the numbers on your numbered bracelets and find that the digital root of that number is equal to the number of that door. The door will open.
Junpei shifted his eyes to the door itself. The number on it was 5. The ninth man seemed to know a little more about the device's operation than he should. Now he had known how had he known exactly what to do?
Good, you're done. Next.
His bloodshot eyes crept from person to person until finally they stopped on the lion, Ace.
You, right? You're the one with the number 1 bracelet, right?
Yes, I am. So?
Then you're next. Just verify your number like this little brat did. What are you doing? Do it! Don't you care what happens to her?
Okay. Just calm down.
Ace held up his hands, palms out. The ninth man jerked his chin towards the device. Slowly, cautiously, Ace moved towards the device. After what seemed like an agonizing eternity, he reached it.
Now, verify!
Ace nodded and placed his hand on the scanner panel. The device beeped again, and a second asterisk appeared. Now the device had Clover and Ace's numbers. 4 and 1. 4 and 1 equals 5. The same number as the number written on the door. But it wouldn't open just yet.
Only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door.
The door needed at least one more person. Who would that be?
Get back!
His voice shook, but the knife he held to Clover's throat made his words a command. Ace took 2, then 3 steps back.
No! Farther! Oh. More than that! Go all the way to the back!
Slowly, Ace did as he was told. The ninth man's lips curled into a cruel, twisted smile. That was when Junpei understood his plan. Clover's 4 and Ace's 1 added to the
Ninth man.
man's 9. 4 plus 1 equals 9.
I'm just gonna step in here and say that they're gonna do this occasionally. This is just to work out how this all works. You don't need to voice it.
Alright. In other words.
Thank God you were all so cooperative. I can get out of this nightmare.
He pressed his own hand against the scanner panel. The third asterisk appeared on the screen. He dropped his hand to the lever on the side of the device and pulled. Whee! The door opened with a heavy metallic groan. He let go of Clover.
Wait!
Junpei leapt toward the ninth man, but he wasn't fast enough. The man shoved Clover and hopped through the door.
Okay. Have a good one, guys. I'm going off ahead now. Well then, goodbye.
He raised his hand and waved with a twisted smirk on his face. And then he was gone. You know, while he was talking, you could have rushed him. Then he was gone. The door ground shut with a dull clang of metal on metal.
Clover! Are you alright?
Snake ran to Clover's side as she lay on the floor.
Yeah, I'm fine.
She climbed unsteadily to her feet, and once there, leaned heavily on Snake's shoulder for support. Junpei ran to the door. The others followed him. I agree, Hawk. Something weird about that.
What happened to everyone must enter and everyone must participate? I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Several pairs of hands grabbed hold of the handles and pulled. They grunted and strained, but...
Shit! I won't budge.
It was then Lotus the dancer spoke. Her voice was quiet. Do you hear something?
Like, what?
Like some sort of beeping. Junpei pressed his ear against the cold metal of the door. The others did the same. You're right. I can hear it too.
What is it?
Then they heard something else. It was the ninth man.
Shit! Why isn't it stopping? God damn it! You lied!
Lied?
This wasn't supposed to happen! This is wrong! This is wrong!
His voice echoed with fear. Safe on the outside, they stepped back from the door and looked at one another.
What's happening in there? Open the door! Please! I'm begging you! Help me! Please, get me out of here! Get me out of here!
Junpei grabbed hold of the device. He slammed his hand on the scanner panel. Nothing happened. Why didn't it register him? He looked at the display where the asterisk had shown up. It said engaged.
When's the wedding?
He couldn't be engaged alone.
Oh my god, there's no time left! Listen, I was lied to! He lied to me! He put me in here! It was him! He killed me! It was him!
What the frick?
That was fun.
That was loud, Sarah. It hurt my ears. The explosion rocked the room. Instinctively, they ducked, then stood up slowly when they realized there was no danger. No one spoke. Silence filled the room. In that silence, the electronic tone that echoed across the room sounded as loud as a gunshot. All eyes turned towards it. Vacant. It had come from the device mounted next to the door. The display changed from engaged to vacant.
Let's see if we can open it.
7, the mountain, swallowed hard. Junpei nodded and placed his hand on the scanner panel. A red asterisk appeared on the LCD panel. The device had registered Junpei's bracelet number 5. He was not enough, however. At least 2 more people were needed.
You're absolutely right, Hawk. If something bad happened to our 9th man, we've still got enough people to get out through 9.
Yep. He wasn't needed. Junpei asked.
Which pair? Who should we send? We need someone to give us a hand here.
Any summaries, guys? Went Ace and Lotus, Snake and 7.
I'm saving.
Oh.
Or the other one.
It was the last one.
Santa
Okay.
and June, probably. Yep.
Because it's 5 we want to get into, right?
Yep, and we're 5, so we need 9 more.
Ace and Lotus, Snake and 7, Santa and June.
I'll give it 20 more seconds because of delay, and then you gotta have a choice ready, Lith.
Me? Oh, for
Okay. Hawk does not want to separate Snake from Clover. Blindness in a game about searching runes sounds like a bad idea. They all come to the digital root of 5. This isn't a trick question. It's who do you want to go with you?
I know, but I was like...
Sorry, didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Uh,
We need an adult. 2 of them.
yeah.
Ace, Lotus, you could give me a hand here?
The pun was a little too on the nose, but the mood was still grim. Both Ace and Lotus lifted their left hands silently. He verified, and she followed suit. Hawk, you don't seem happy.
You told us which one not to choose.
They fulfilled the conditions.
We had 3 options, so...
If they were to pull the lever on the side...
Are you guys ready? I'm gonna open it.
Junpei grabbed the lever and looked back over his shoulder. They stiffened and nodded.
Okay, signing at the pun.
Junpei nodded back and set his mouth in a grim line. Then he slowly lowered the lever. There was a metallic groan and the door slid open. The breath of air drifted out of it, carrying a stench that nearly made them gag. Junpei grimaced and put a hand over his mouth. Oh my god!
Good God.
Lotus and Ace shuddered. Seven grunted.
Whoa. That's pretty bad.
Even Santa's voice shook.
He blew up.
It appeared that Santa was right. The hallway on the other side of the door was splattered with chunks of torn flesh and dark red blood. The shriek echoed across the room. It had come from June. Then her strength left her and she dropped. As Junpei turned to catch her, the door groaned shut. Bet, they're stuck in there? She crumpled to the floor.
Wow, Lith, you can scream like a girl.
Who would have thought? The trick is to muffle your voice so it doesn't kill the mic.
And the neighbors.
And the neighbors.
June, you okay?
Junpei dropped to his knees and put his arm around her shoulders. It was then he noticed. Her whole body was feverish. She was radiating intense heat.
What the hell? Where'd this fever come from?
June didn't answer. Her face looked like wax. Her whole body began to shake.
Alright, let's just rest for a minute, okay? You think you can walk?
She nodded weakly. Junpei lifted June to her feet and guided her to a nearby chair.
Here you go.
As gently as he could, he set her down on it.
How are you feeling? You alright?
She nodded, and as she did, a single huge tear rolled down the side of her face. Why? Why did this happen? Her voice cracked, broken by misery, grief, and choked by sobs. Why did this happen? Junpei spun around.
Do any of you know what the fuck is going on here? Who's Zero? What's this nonary game? Come on. Anybody? Anything? What the hell is going on? What are we doing here?
No one spoke. Ace, Snake, Santa, Clover, Seven, and Lotus. They simply stood there, 7 pairs of downcast eyes and 7 grim lines from mouths. June's body shook with silent sobs. They slowed as minutes ticked by, and eventually they stopped. Then suddenly, in the cold, heavy silence that had enveloped them like a thick fog, a bell began to ring. The clock in the central hall. 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And then, on the 10th ring, it stopped. The sound of the bell faded away into silence.
It's 10 o'clock then.
Ace said what each of them had been thinking.
It means it's been an hour since Zero's little announcement.
Seven's deep voice echoed across the room.
Fuck! I've had enough of this crap.
Santa leapt to his feet, his fists clenched.
How long are we gonna pussyfoot around like this? We've only got 8 hours until this time limit Zero's going on about is up. Let's get going already! Go! Go!
Santa's outburst fell on deaf ears. No one seemed to agree with him. They stared back at him, their eyes blank and their faces tired. Finally, Lotus spoke. No, I refuse. I'm not going to end up like him.
Him? You mean the Ninth Man?
Of course. Who else? In his mind's eye, Junpei saw the corpse again. The dark, reddish-black pool of blood. The scattered pieces of flesh. Organs strewn across the floor like the blossoming of a grotesque flower. The explosion that had torn through his body had been powerful. The Ninth Man's neck had been twisted at an odd angle. Junpei suspected the detonation had thrown him against the wall. Half of his face was crushed, and the other half was covered in blood. Most of his abdomen had been emptied, either by the explosion or by gravity. He had landed on his back, and stark white ribs jutted out of his chest like some sort of macabre crab. Junpei felt something flip in his stomach.
I think he just screwed up.
Eyebrows went up, and Santa continued.
Probably set off some sort of trap, and that killed him. I'm not gonna screw up like that. I'm getting out of here alive.
Are you... What? What's wrong with the prince? However, Snake was laughing. Santa did not find particularly humorous.
What's so goddamn funny? Oh, my apologies. You were just so very confident. I couldn't help myself. What the fuck? I think you've mistaken the situation. Huh? The Ninth Man's death. It had nothing to do with a trap. Or at least, not the sort of trap you imagine it did. Then, he broke one of Zero's rules. That was why he died. Quite simple if you think about it. You still don't... Alright. How about you take a moment and think back to what Zero said? Specifically, what did he say about the number of people? He said only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door. Right? And after that? You've forgotten the relevant part. What did Zero say?
Santa furrowed his brow in thought. Junpei thought back. Zero said... no. Then only 2 people can go through.
But everyone who
verified had to go.
Which is what Hawk caught earlier.
Yeah.
All those who enter must leave, and all who enter must contribute. Right? I think it was something like that. Whatever it was, it means that groups of less than 3 or more than 5 can't go through. That is correct. A gold star for you, Junpei.
Snake inclined his head toward Junpei.
The Ninth Man, however, broke that rule. He tried to pass through a numbered door by himself. That was why he was executed.
Then Zero's watching us from somewhere? Making sure we don't break any rules.
Oh, I'm not so sure of that.
Why not?
Because this execution system is entirely automatic. You didn't notice. There's no need for him to monitor us.
What do you mean?
Watches, right? Snake looked at Seven with what could only be described as pity inside.
Very well. I see it must be me who tells you. I've waited long enough, I suppose. I'd hoped Zero might spare me the trouble, but That seems increasingly unlikely.
He couldn't see them, of course, but perhaps Snake sensed the confused eyes upon him. When Ace spoke, he gave words to everyone else's thoughts.
Yeah, I wonder if that limitation is going to apply to door number 9, Hawk.
Do you know something?
Well, I know a great many things, but yes.
What is it you know?
Yeah, didn't like that delivery. Here.
Snake removed a card from the pocket of his jacket. With a flourish, he presented it to Ace, who, guys, Zare did a little lovely flurry with his hand. With a flourish, he presented it to Ace, who took it to look at it and spoke.
Come on now. What's the point of giving me this? Give me that.
Santa snatched the card from Ace, but his expression of disgust quickly turned to one of confusion.
Huh? The hell is this?
Seven tugged it out of Santa's hands.
Whoops.
I see.
The card went from Seven to Lotus, from Lotus to June, and finally to Junpei. He looked at it and understood.
This is Braille.
Braille! Braille, the written language for the blind. The card was covered with small embossed bumps. Junpei couldn't recognize it, but he certainly could recognize it, but he certainly couldn't read it.
Sorry, guys. I can't read this.
Junpei had handed the card back to Snake, who nodded at him with a small smirk. Okay, that was fun. What's so important about the card?
I found it in my pocket. I can only assume it is a message from Zero.
From Zero?
A message?
What does it say? Suddenly, everyone was crowding around Snake, desperate to hear what the message said. Santa especially looked as if he were about to grab hold of Snake and shake the answers from him. Snake raised his hand.
Calm down now. No need to panic. You don't need to force me. I'll read it.
Junpei swallowed hard and waited for him to start. He was not the only one. Presently, Snake began to read, his voice calm. His fingers glided over the tiny bumps as he spoke.
Bracelet number 2. Since you are not blessed with sight, I shall bless you, and only you, with information. I shall tell you of the function of the red, of the dead, and of the bracelet. The red is the recognition device. It will verify your number. Beside every numbered door, you will find a red.
And you're right, Hawk. It's true.
No one will know if Snake is telling the truth. The dead is the deactivation device. It does exactly what it says. Once you have passed through the numbered door, you must use the dead to stop the detonator in your bracelet. But perhaps you are wondering, what does this detonator detonate? I'm afraid this may be something of a surprise. I've placed a small bomb inside of you, and the people whom you are about to meet.
Oh my gosh.
You swallowed it while you were unconscious. I have no doubt that by the time you read this note, the bomb will have passed your stomach and found its way to your small intestine. In other words, you will be unable to regurgitate it. I suggest you do not try. As I mentioned before, the bracelet on your left hand contains a detonator. Think of it as a remote fuse or timer for the bomb in your body. There is only one condition which will cause it to detonate. That condition is that you enter a numbered door. Once you have done so, the timer will activate no matter who you may be. You will have 81 seconds. If, after that time, the detonator has not been deactivated, it will send a signal to the bomb in your body instructing it to explode. In order to deactivate the detonator, every person who verified their number at the red must also verify their numbers at the dead. Once all numbers have been verified by the dead, you need only pull the lever at its side and the countdown will cease. Anyone who does not verify their number at the RD will find themselves unable to verify their number at the dead. That is to say, if you should pass through a numbered door without first verifying your number at the red, in 81 seconds, you will be dead.
Whew.
You must also keep in mind that the numbered doors will close automatically after 9 seconds have passed. So long as the door is open, the dead will not function. You would do well to remember this. Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1. You escape from the ship. 2. Your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or detects that its wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. There is no other way to remove your bracelet. If you attempt to force it off or disable the detonator, the bomb within you will immediately explode. This is all the information which I can impart to you. How you choose to use it is for you to decide. If used wisely, you can eliminate those who might be a danger to you. For a time, you would be able to control your fate. I wish you the best of luck.
What? Snake finished reading and carefully returned the card to his pocket. The message had been lengthy, but its meaning was clear. Only those who verified their numbers at the red could pass through the numbered doors. Teams could not increase or decrease their numbers. The Reds, the Deads, and the Bracelets enforced the rules. They were the judge, jury, and executioner. In defiance of Zero's suggestions, both Santa and Seven put their fingers down their throats and began to gag. The rest stiffened. Some touched their stomachs, some simply stared at their bracelets. Junpei gingerly touched his stomach. There was a bomb inside his body. The thought of it made him queasy. His stomach felt oddly hollow, and his legs were weak. Why had Zero designed such a ludicrous game? Junpei looked over at the others.
Alright, I'm gonna ask one more time. Do any of you know anything about Zero?
They were all silent, each person waiting to hear what the others would say. Finally, Santa spoke.
Actually, I saw him. I saw Zero when I got grabbed. I didn't see his face, though. Son of a bitch was wearing some kind of gas mask. What the hell? Come on, guys, give me something. You know, like surprise or something.
Instead, it was Santa who looked surprised. There was a moment of silence, and then everyone spoke at once. Yeah, I saw him too. Me too. He was wearing a gas mask. As stories were sorted out, the truth became clear. All of their stories were the same. They'd been abducted at home at midnight. Person claiming to be Zero had worn a mask. There had been white smoke, and then each person had passed out. When they awoke, they found themselves on D-deck in a room with a 3-level bunk bed. Only Seven's story seemed to lack the detail of the others.
Oh, me? Yeah, well, mine was just like the rest of yours.
That was all he said. It occurred to Junpei at the time that it sounded somewhat strange, but he didn't press the issue. He hadn't done so because there was something that struck him as even stranger. That was the mystery of the relationship between Snake and Clover. For some reason, they had been abducted from the same room and woken up in the same room. Junpei looked at them thoughtfully.
So, what's the deal with the two of you anyway?
It was Clover that answered. Clearly, she felt she had nothing to hide.
We're siblings.
Siblings?
That's awesome.
Yes?
Hawk, I don't think Snake said that he saw Zero in the gas mask. But he probably collaborated as best he could.
Snake is my older brother, obviously. That means I'm his little sister. That really so hard to understand?
Junpei was taken aback. The others seemed just as surprised.
She is correct, of course.
He laid his hand on Clover's, on Clover's shoulder.
Are you surprised?
Well, yeah, but
Why? There are other people here with connections to one another. Those two, for instance.
Snake pointed at Junpei and June.
Oh, you mean Junpei and me?
Ah, yes. You did say you were childhood friends, didn't you?
You went to school together?
Yes.
June glanced at Junpei, uncomfortable with the sudden attention. Junpei felt somewhat nervous as well and tried to scratch his head as casually as possible.
Hey, you think maybe we could figure out who Zero is this way?
Yeah, you're right. You connect the dots between the victims, and that leads you to the perp. Textbook stuff.
Junpei, June, does any of this ring a bell?
Ring a bell.
Ring a bell?
They looked at one another. And like it was staged, they both tilted their neck at the same time. Well, perhaps you went to school with some son of a multimillionaire.
A millionaire? Son?
Son?
Well, someone bought this boat and set up all of this. Whoever Zero is, they must be incredibly rich.
Well, we can't be sure of that. To me, this seems as though it's the work of an organization, not an individual. Zero is most likely simply the representative of a larger group. What sort of organization? Could be a number of things. An army, perhaps, or a research group. Perhaps this is all some sort of psychological experiment.
If it is, then it's a pretty fucked up experiment. I mean, come on, the guy's dead.
The word dead hung in the air, heavy and ominous. The room went quiet again.
I don't know who the hell this Zero asshole is. I know for sure he's got to be pretty fucked up in the head to do all this. This is all one guy, and he's got some serious issues.
Even with the specter of death hanging over them, the discussions continued for some time. In the end, however, they learned nothing. By the time they finished, 1.5 of their 9 hours were gone. All they had to show for it was impatience.
Yeah. Look, we only got 7.5 hours left, okay? You really sure you want to just sit around?
No one was willing to argue this time.
Very well then. There's only one way for us to proceed. Sure not gonna be fun running around knowing we gotta jump when Zero says jump.
Well, it's not... Well, it's stupid to sit around here and do nothing.
Thanks to Snake's card, at least we have some idea of how this all works.
Correct. And so long as we follow the rules, we will most likely be alright.
But
But what?
who's going to go in which door?
June looked towards the numbered doors.
Yeah, that's right. We can't have any more than 5 people in one door. All 8 of us can't go in the same door.
Then it would seem we'll have to split up.
Wait! Lotus looked terrified. I'm telling you now, there is no way in hell that I'm going into door 5.
No, don't be selfish.
Hawk, the thing about scanning is they did scan on the 5 door and it opened up, but because they didn't pass before it closed, that trigger was deactivated. So they're not consigned to that.
Yeah. Call me whatever the hell you want. I'm not going in there. If I'm gonna have to walk through all that blood, then I'd rather stay here.
And we were doing so well.
Ace shook his head sadly.
Sorry, but I ain't going in there either. Someone else can go into door 5.
Oh, Santa, not you too.
Hey man, I just bought these shoes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
If you think I'm getting some creepy dude's blood all over them, you got another think coming.
Yeah, because when you're in danger, you gotta take care of, your special shoes. Yep, that was the last straw.
What the hell, man? Weren't you the one who kept saying we should keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah, so? Doesn't mean I wanted to go into door 5. Oh, God.
There was an awkward silence. Finally, Seven spoke.
Fine. I'll go into door 5. I can't go in there alone, though. Anyone else willing to come with me?
There was another long silence. This time, Snake was the one to break it.
I'll go.
What?
Don't worry, you'll be fine. We may part now, but I'm certain we'll meet again later.
How do you know that?
Because I do.
That's not an answer. If you're going, I'm going too. I'm going into door 5.
What am I going to do with you?
There's nothing you have to do.
Ace stepped forward.
If I join you, the problem is solved, correct? 7, 7, and Snake is 2. And if you add Clover's 4 and my 1, the digital root will be 5.
Aha.
Oh, it works perfect. 4 of us can go into door 5.
Wait. What about the other 4? What's their digital root gonna be?
Junpei did a quick mental calculation. Lotus, Santa, June, and Junpei remained. Their bracelet numbers were 8, 3, 6, and 5.
What would their digital root be? So we've got 11, 14, 22, 4. No, that can't be right. 11, 17, 22.
Yeah. And B4 repeated what he determined.
It's 4. Add up our 4 bracelet numbers and the digital root is 4.
Then we can go into door 4.
Yeah. That worked out well.
Junpei ran over the team assignments in his head one more time. 4 people would go into door 5. 7, Snake, Clover, and Ace. 4 people would go into door 4. Lotus, Santa, June, and Junpei. Junpei had to ask himself if the teams were really what he wanted. Beyond door 5 was what remained of the 9th man. He never wanted to see that thing again, but something in his head, something in him said it would be unwise not to examine the corpse even a little closer. Of course, if he went through door 5, he wouldn't be going with Lotus and Santa. True, it would be possible for him to bring June with him through door 5, but that would mean she would have to see the horrific carnage that waited there. Junpei didn't want that. Junpei was torn. Should he stay silent and go through door 4? Or should he stop them all and insist on door 5? As he turned his options over and over in his head, Ace spoke up.
Alright then. Seems we've reached a conclusion. Shall we go?
He began to walk towards door 5. Clover, Snake followed, with 7 a short distance behind.
Alright, so there's no complicated math here. It's just choose which door do you want to go in. We can actually stop them right now and try to go into 5 ourselves, or we can go along with the plan and head into door 4.
I don't have a problem going through it.
That said, we only know something about door 5, and there's a bloody corpse in there.
Do you want to save?
We're gonna go through with this decision. We're not gonna backtrack.
Okay.
I can't save while you're deciding, though.
I personally, don't have a problem with it. She can go through the other door, that's fine. And we can get a look at the corpse, so...
You want 5?
Yeah.
Alright.
Let's do it.
Hey, wait!
Junpei's cry echoed across the room. 4 people walking towards the door stopped and turned back toward him.
I want to go through the door 5, too.
The words were scarcely out of his mouth when June spoke up.
What? What are you saying, Junpei? If you're going through that door, then I'm going with you.
He turned around to look at her.
No, you can't. I can't take you with me.
Well, why?
Well, you know what's in there, don't you? You sure you want to see that?
June opened her mouth as if to say something, but instead closed it again and looked at the floor. Junpei felt an ache in his chest at her clear distress, but the choice was not his to make. There was nothing else he could do. Junpei turned away from June, doing his best to silence his turbulent emotions.
Please, let me go into door 5.
Seven scratched his head and looked at the young man.
Then, we're right back where we started. You know that?
Junpei's bracelet number is 5, right? We're going to add Junpei then. We must subtract 5 from the rest of us.
Snake turned to Ace.
Ace, please take good care of Clover.
Oh, all right. That's fine.
Don't go away!
You need to listen to me, Clover. Go to door 4 with the others.
No!
Don't be so selfish.
Snake's tone was harsh. Tears welled up in Clover's eyes. She bit her lip and did her best to fight them off. Snake's expression softened and he put his arms around Clover. He held her close and whispered into her ear.
You'll be fine. Just relax.
It looked as though he whispered 2 or 3 more words, but whatever they were, Junpei didn't hear them. He couldn't help but wonder what the other man had said. Snake pulled back from his sister, his eyes kind and inquiring. Okay, I understand. Her voice was barely audible from where Junpei stood. Before long, new teams were assembled. Those going into door 5, Seven, Snake, and Junpei. Those going into door 4, Lotus, Santa, June, Ace, and Clover. Seven, Snake, and Junpei scanned their numbers bracelets in quick succession. The screen of the red showed 3 asterisks.
All right then, let's go.
Junpei glanced around one last time, his hand resting on the lever of the red.
Okay. Please be careful.
Concern was written plainly across her face. Junpei looked at her in the eye and gave her what he hoped was a reassuring nod. He pulled the lever.
In we go!
With the sharp clack of a lock releasing, the door swung open. Ahead of them, in the small hallway, were the pitiful remains of the 9th man. For a moment, Junpei froze. Try as he might, his eyes would not leave the corpse, and his feet would not leave the floor. 7-2 seemed paralyzed. Snake, on the other hand, seemed unconcerned. Of course he's not. He walked calmly down the bloody hallway and only stopped when he realized his companions were not following.
Do you intend to kill me? I assume you haven't forgotten the door only remains open for 9 seconds, have you?
He hadn't bothered to turn around. His head was, at most, slightly cocked to one shoulder. Junpei and Seven looked at one another, nodded, and threw themselves through the door. As they did, the cold stone the cold tone sounded from left wrists of all 3 men. Oh shit! Seven and Junpei looked at their bracelets. On both of them, on Snake's red skull flickered to life. The detonator had begun its countdown. They had scarcely processed this information when... Boom. With a metal slam, the numbered door behind them swung shut. Unless they could find the device that would deactivate the detonators on their wrists, they would not be leaving the hallway.
Hey! Where's the dead?
The fear and urgency in Seven's voice reflected what all 3 of them felt. Junpei spun around, searching desperately for the dead. He found it easily enough. It was on the wall, next to the closed door labeled 5.
Found it! Right here! Oh, I still has last week's game. I
Ah!
thought I updated that. I guess it didn't go through.
As he yelled, he struck the scanner with his hand. The other two scrambled to follow suit. As soon as they finished, Snake threw the lever down. There we go. We're good.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it stopped.
As he spoke, Junpei wiped sweat from his forehead with a trembling hand.
God damn thing's gonna give me a heart attack.
A muscle stood out in Seven's neck, and the corners of his mouth were twitching.
Junpei, are you alright? Are you guys okay?
They could hear anxious voices muffled but distinct from the other side of the door.
Yeah, we're fine. The detonators have been deactivated.
They heard relieved sighs, and even through the door, the three men could feel the tension disperse.
Alright, moving on. Be careful, okay?
Okay.
Sure thing.
They heard footsteps moving away, and before long, they were alone again. Junpei looked around. The hallway hit a dead end about 20 or 30 feet from where they stood. A thick iron wall blocked their way. Try as they might to force it, the wall refused to move. To the left, however, was a wooden door that looked positively inviting by comparison. In the middle was a plaque that read First Class.
First class cabin, huh?
Well, it seems like it. Let's have a look then, shall we?
Without hesitation, Snake opened the door and stepped inside. Seven followed closely behind him. Junpei moved to follow them as well, but he stopped just short of the threshold and looked back, not knowing why. Lying in the small hallway was a man's body, or at least what was left of it. He had tried hard to avoid looking at the grisly scene, but it just wouldn't leave his mind. What had once been a man's internal organs now looked like so much vomit, as though something had chewed up and spit out the better part of his torso. It was hideous, but worse still, it was cruel. It was hard to believe the thing on the floor had once been human. The black pool of thick blood, the lumps of glistening flesh spread across the floor, awkward, twisted tangle of shredded intestines, the head wrenched to some grotesque, unnatural position. The man's glasses lay next to his head. Lenses were cracked and the frame bent and distorted. And next to the glasses lay a bracelet, the number 9 still displayed on its face. Oh yeah! Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1. You escape from the ship. 2. Your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship or detects the wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. Suddenly, Junpei felt his stomach convulse. A knot of muscle gripped his throat. He clasped his hand over his mouth and ran to the last cabin. First class cabin, sorry.
Gotta vomit in a confined space!
You didn't grab it? I would have totally grabbed it. The atmosphere changed immediately. The room was grotesque, and despite the apparent age of the ship, none the worse for wear. He looked around. Seven and Snake were nowhere to be seen. There were 2 doors on the right side of the room. He opened one to his right and went through. On the other side of the door was a short hallway.
That's correct, Hawk. It's not shut down. It's still displaying the number.
I know. He jogged down the hallway, opened the door at the other end, and peeked through. There they were, to his right, busy examining something. He stepped through the door and walked toward them.
What's up?
Check this out. We found this thing here on the door.
Red light's on. Does that mean it's locked? So I would assume. Is there any other way out?
We looked around a little. Other than this door, we didn't find anything.
So you're telling me that unless we can open this door, yes, we won't be going anywhere.
Junpei stepped away from the door and looked around the room. The room they were in looked like a bedroom. He figured the room they'd originally entered was the living room or whatever passed for one on a ship.
Alright, let's find a way to open this door. Come on, guys.
Wow. Yay!
Seek a way out.
That's a lot of
Okay.
rooms to check out.
Top floor camera's back. So let's start
Eh.
clicking on all the things.
All of the things. Bed. Looks comfy.
Hey, there's something under the pillow again.
It's music.
I see. This feels like glass. A rectangular plate of glass. There's something written on the surface. Yeah, it's a sheet of music with a couple of A notes. Just A's? Yeah, that's it. Kinda weird, huh?
It took Junpei by surprise. Snake, usually so calm and collected, suddenly began to move. He started about the room, almost frantically, clearly searching for something. No, Junpei thought, not staring. After all, he's blind. Blind or not, Snake was clearly attempting to do something. At last, Junpei could no longer contain his curiosity.
What are you doing?
Snake waited a moment before answering.
I heard something. Strange. Something strange? Ah, well, never mind. It doesn't seem to be anything suspicious. I don't wish to toot my own horn, but my auditory senses are considerably more advanced than those of most humans. I noticed even the slightest of noises. Right. Are you gonna tell me you can hear a needle drop from a mile away? No, such a thing would be impossible. However, by listening to the sound of footsteps and breathing, as well as sound echoing off the environment, I can locate most objects. Oh, yeah, that's right. When Clover fell on the big staircase a little while ago, you were at her side. Immediately. So that was... Yes. I could hear it happening. In fact, I can run quite fast. Certainly as fast as you. And should someone attempt to start a fight with me, I am quite confident that I could defeat them.
He's like the blind swordsman. Junpei was somewhat taken aback by this revelation. He stared at Snake, skeptical.
You don't believe me, do you? Care to give me a try?
Come on, man, let's have fisticuffs.
I must warn you, you'll no doubt regret it. Well, I suppose that's enough playing around. Let's resume our search, shall we?
With a small, self-satisfied smile, Snake turned and walked away from Junpei. Note to self, do not mess with the blind guy.
My desk. Feels kinda fancy.
It all feels fancy.
It's a small, round chair. Looks like it probably goes to the vanity. Oh god,
Hallway.
this is confusing.
I know. Ugh.
It's a light switch. Nothing happens when I press it.
This is a use. Ooh.
In the bathroom.
And there we are in the mirror. On a pair. A college kid and a terrifying giant of a man in a beanie. Stuck in a cramped bathroom with this beast of a man. What would my parents say?
Get in the tub.
Something wrong, Junpei? You look real sad all of a sudden.
Oh, no, nothing.
Lights, huh? Nope. Doesn't look like there's anything hidden there. Testing. Testing. Hey, it's great to see you all here. I just flew in from New York. Boy, are my arms tired. Yes, thank you. I'll be here all week. Try the veal.
That's not a mic, Seven. It's just a shower head.
He's being funny.
What? What the hell?
Maybe not. Bathtub is full of water.
That's odd.
There ash or something in this water? Looks kinda gray.
It's true.
Let's just pull the plug.
No, hold on.
Yeah. You don't know what it is.
Maybe we can, I don't know, use it for something?
Use it for something?
Well-
I guess we're not touching that yet.
Yeah.
Well, the sink's clean. Any water?
Nothing's coming out. Got the faucet on all the way, but I can't hear anything.
So, faucet that does not work. Tub filled with gray water.
It's a heavy piece of paper that's been folded in half. It has score printed on front of it.
Ah, like a musical
So-
score.
That's gotta be musical score. That's true, and the score we just found was probably in here. At least, at some point. Somebody spent a lot of time carving the legs of this chair. It'll snap like a twig if Seven sits on it, though.
Mind your own business!
What? Oh.
We certainly aren't in the market for even more water.
This is some sort of antique desk. Makes sense though, I guess. The whole room's full of antiques. You got a nice handful of cash for all the stuff in here.
I'm more pressed to, like, what's making the water gray? Maybe it's just not
Sure.
water. Maybe it's just not... Maybe it's not
Sure,
just
huh?
water, you know? Yes, it's a chair.
That chair looks nice. Mind if I take a load off?
I think you'd be doing the opposite.
Oh, shit. Fire! Ooh!
Fire is bad.
There's an iron grate in
There's an
front
iron
of the
grate in
fire.
front of the fireplace. There's something behind it.
It looks like a musical note thingy.
It does. There are a couple of lights up on the wall. Wait, what is that? Absolutely nothing, apparently. This couch looks just big enough for 3 people.
Looks perfect for me.
What?
What?
Perfect for an elegant gentleman like myself.
Yeah, I agree,
Couch
Hawk.
looks a lot more elegant.
There might be something at the bottom of the tub.
Hey, there's something you aren't saying.
Never mind.
Uh,
Yeah, there's probably something hiding in that water. But we don't know what to do with it yet.
I get it. You're gonna use this vase, right? That's pretty clever, Junpei. We just gotta fill this thing with water.
ah.
That's exactly what I was thinking about when I picked this up. See, empty, as far as we can tell.
I don't see anything special on it.
It's like a vase. You could use that.
Okay.
Okay, we zoomed into the door instead of opening it.
Ooh.
So much stuff.
Ooh. Another score! Yay!
Okay, can we combine these? That would be a combinatorial explosion for whoever had to manage these items.
Nope.
Not yet.
There's a
This is
suitcase.
a suitcase made of leather, color of rich mahogany.
Well, shoot. Looks like there's nothing in it.
There's one underneath it.
It's a leather suitcase.
Dang. Nothing in there.
Okay.
Perspective!
Yeah.
That helps a lot. I don't think we're in this room.
Toilet.
There's some toilet paper on the wall there.
Oh, good.
Nothing that looks suspicious.
Does the water run?
It's a toilet. Doesn't seem to be anything in the toilet or the tank.
Does the water run in it? Nothing strange going on here. It's just a toilet. Go away.
Click on these.
Gross, cloudy water.
Alright. Shouldn't be too hard to fill this vase up.
Yay! Vase full of water. Now what?
We fight fires.
Let's go get it. Put out the fire.
Got a vase filled with water. It's heavy. I can't just throw it out the grate, though.
Toss
I'll
it.
pour the water right onto the fire itself.
Why? Just
It could be messy.
seriously?
Don't see one of these too often.
Well, a lot of people these days with real fireplaces and real fires.
Oh, sorry.
Aren't a lot of people these days with real fireplaces and real fires.
Ah, first world problems.
There was once a vase on this table.
Now it's alone. Desolate. Empty. It misses its vase.
So where are we? There's a door here, but the map cuts off, so I don't think we're going through.
Hey, Junpei, where are you going?
Yep.
Can we come out of that door? No point going back there. Well, it's out there, a locked number door, and...
A dead body. Or what's left of it.
yeah.
But there's a bracelet out there! And glasses! They showed the glasses.
Are you Yukiko? Okay. It's totally a table with a mirror. Ah, yes. You know, that sort of thing is known as a vanity. Were you aware of that, Junpei? Of course, vanity also refers to self-love, conceit, and narcissism. As such, you could say that every day when a woman looks into one of these, she is staring at her own conceit and narcissism.
Oof.
Doesn't that strike you as terribly sad? What's this? This isn't a score. This
The map
a
of the
of the ship? A map? There's a map of the ship here. Yeah. And I imagine it will prove very helpful. You'd best hold on to it, Junpei. Okay. It's now possible to use the map screen. Piano keyboard. What's Snake doing? He can't play, can he?
Hey! Plenty of blind people can play the piano.
This piano. There's something amiss with the keys. You mean it's out of tune or something? No, not that. It's properly tuned, just... Well, the sounds are clearly purposefully different. The C key doesn't yield a C, but rather a different note entirely. The same goes for the D keys. They play some other note. Huh. Why do you think it's like that? Isn't it painfully obvious? Zero modified it in some way. This piano, you see, is part of one of the puzzles Zero has set for us. Perhaps if we play the keys in the correct order, something will happen. Yeah, in other words, we need to play a song on the piano. I believe so.
Was there another window? Was there another mirror over there? Like, right, like the edge of the screen. What is that? Like, it looks like a
We tried
dresser.
clicking on it last time.
Yeah,
it
there we
works
go.
now.
Window.
Window.
There's an
Nice.
iron plate nailed to it. And can you get to the dresser underneath it? Those little drawers?
They seem to just be wall panels.
Oh, okay.
Bed. Bed with a canopy. I've seen things like this in movies and stuff. But never in real life. True. You don't see too many these days. I can't see the details, obviously, but I imagine it's one of those princess beds Clover is so fond of. Clover wants one of these? Yes. She wants a princess bed. Didn't I say that? You think it doesn't suit her? Yeah, guess you could say that. Junpei. Judge her by appearances, will you? And where you should not.
Yeah, judging my sister. Them fighting words.
The one in the other room. Clicked on. With canopy. And this makes me miss my own bed. And sleep.
I know. Oh. I didn't think I used to have a bed with curtains.
Well, let's examine this, see if there's a hint here. So this is the locking thing. It's flashing red. That's usually not a good sign.
Red means no. Green means go.
A microphone? Looks like a satellite dish. Let me see. Well, judging by the feel of it, I would guess that we were meant to produce some sort of sound. And this device will sense it and unlock.
Ah, so we do have to play some music and then that will unlock it. Yay.
Let's take a look at the overhead. So, okay, we're right here. So the door to the left goes to the hall. Okay. Ah!
Ooh.
And this safe is locked.
It's one of those dial locks. Doesn't have a key. Just need to get the dials in the right place and it'll open.
Did you find anything, Seven?
Nope. How about you, Snake?
I also found nothing.
Ooh. There we go.
Where's the suitcase? There's nothing inside. I can tell by the weight, and it makes no noise when shaken.
Lots of empty suitcases.
Unfortunately, there's nothing inside. Nothing in there.
Can't close it up. Oh, there we go.
Okay, what do we have? We've got a vase of water that we're just handling everywhere.
Obviously, it's for the fire, but apparently, we're just too weak to toss it?
It's not that. There's some issue with just splashing it. It'd probably knock over the glass for one thing. And making glass fall is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. What if we put water here? Okay.
What about the lamp or the... What's this stuff on the wall? Oh, just switches.
Yeah, just light switches. There's another door at the end of this inner hallway. But first, I'm going to see what happens when we do this. Oops. We've checked the couch. Wait. Expensive looking chair sitting over here. Okay, just got roses on it. Oh, do we... No, I checked in here. Just keeping a lookout for any hidden panels. Fill it up.
I think. The light, maybe?
I don't want to pour water on a light.
No. But I mean, like, just touch it, take it off. I don't know. There's be something hidden behind it. Okay.
Perfectly ordinary.
That's right.
Oh, okay, now we can do this. Music stand. Well, might as well put this glass plate on it. Oh, Is something wrong? It's kind of hard to see the notes. If I put something under them? Background for the notes. Like that score paper? That's not the way to go.
Nope.
Fuck this room. Oh, come on.
Come on. We want it. Oh, what about that other sheet? Wait. No, it's the same sheet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Invoke Disneyness.
What was in the luggage closet? A lot of empty briefcases.
Yep. Yep.
Maybe we can smear it.
Why? Doesn't want me doing that just yet. Where's that chair we tried to get Seven to sit on?
Can we click on the vanity again? Seems like so strange that would be there. It probably goes with the vanity.
Toilet paper.
Wait, it does. That was kind of fancy. Yeah, try the toilet. There's nothing in the drawers. Yeah, totally empty. Ah. I know,
Actually,
Hawk.
somewhat serious.
Yeah.
Well, we can give it a
Toilet
shot.
paper.
But
Got
I
no any other
don't
proof.
think it's gonna happen.
We clicked it earlier and it didn't change, but let's click it with the musical scores in our hand, maybe. Okay.
Nope.
Wait. Okay. Nope.
We may be desperate, but we're not barbarians. Okay, come on. I know there was a chair that Seven could have sat on. We just need to persuade him.
Yeah. There it is. It was the other one. The white one. That one. Let's sit.
What? It was on the dispenser. It was presumably clean toilet paper.
There was once a vase on this table. Now it is lonely.
And we can't reunite them. Clicking all the things.
During the rest of the bathtub looks comparatively clean.
Oh,
Looks like there
wait,
was
maybe
moved
since we have
somewhere
a
else,
jug now.
intentionally. Yeah.
No, I wanted. Whoops.
Whoa.
What happened there?
Rawr. Okay, so
Want the plug.
one. Let's move here somewhere
There we go.
intentionally. There.
There. Whoops. There a plug on the end of this chain.
All right. Why don't we just drag this in the water.
Yeah, good plan.
Alright, raise that thing. A good tug ought to be enough to get it out. Huh?
Aha!
That doesn't solve our immediate problem.
There's nothing in the bathtub anymore.
How many do we have?
We have 4.
A, G, D, C. Oh, they're not in order. It's possible there's only 4? You don't have to go through all the notes.
Where's the big version of this?
Oh, it's the same.
Thanks.
Every time. I want to see if Junpei's interested in that paper now.
Come on! Ah! No, no. Nope. Oh.
Oh yeah, there is this.
Time to put this fire out.
Wait, what?
About
See?
time, buddy. Let's do it.
Here we
Here we go.
Ah! Knew it! Not that bad.
Good job. Another success. That fire didn't stand a chance.
Why didn't you let us do this earlier?
Alright, I'll just pull this out now.
You're Junpei now?
Oh, sorry.
Alright, I'll just pull this out now. I don't want to get burned, so let's pull down the sleeves.
Ah. As Junpei tucked the plate into his pocket, Seven cried out and stumbled, his balance lost. He threw out a hand and caught the wall in time to steady himself and avoid the floor, but his face was flushed and he looked startled.
Hey, Seven, what the hell was that? You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just felt a little dizzy, that's all.
Seven rubbed a couple of fingers across his brow, then shook his head as if to clear it.
What the hell's wrong with me?
Well, you do have a foreign object in your intestines, causing who knows what the hell to your system.
First memory loss? I'm getting dizzy for no reason.
Memory loss?
Junpei couldn't hide the surprise in his voice. Seven, for his part, seemed unconcerned.
Right. Guess I haven't told you, have I? Told the rest of them, but that must have been before you showed up. Well, the long and short of it is that I don't remember jack from before I woke up here. Didn't realize I hadn't told you.
Well, wait a minute. You're talking about amnesia, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Why are you an amnesiac? What happened to you?
If I knew that, I wouldn't really be one, would I?
Yeah, it's kind of a stupid question, dude.
There's something important. Yeah, guess that's true.
Junpei paused for a moment and stared at Seven.
Are you telling the truth?
Huh?
If he wasn't, how are you going to
Well,
be sure, Junpei?
You look pretty calm for somebody who doesn't remember anything. You really got amnesia. Shouldn't you be, like, upset or confused? Something?
Just his temperament.
Well, sure. I mean, I was pretty confused when I woke up down on D-Deck. But that was a while ago. I've had some time to get used to it. After a while, I figured it wasn't worth the trouble of worrying about it. After all, why worry about something I can't change? Well, people usually don't stay amnesiacs forever. I figure it'll work itself out eventually.
That's it?
That's usually it, dude.
That's it. Alright, that's enough talking for now. Let's get back to work.
Seven gave Junpei a look the younger man wasn't sure how to interpret, and turned to walk away. Somehow, though, Junpei didn't find his reassurance very reassuring.
Okay, now can we take the paper? If you put sheet music in it, which is why we want it, so we can put sheet music in it.
Maybe we have to like prompt the want of it. Let's go back to the piano.
Yeah, we had a cutscene, so things should have changed. Every single time.
Try going back to the piano, maybe. See if it'll work.
What did you end up doing to make that happen? We just decided to throw water on the fire, and we decided it was a good idea this time.
The music stand.
We just gotta put the ceramic plate on the bottom, and then stack the glass plates up on top of it. Right, good. What, the ceramic plate? What?
Yep.
I don't remember this many bottles. Sweet. Now I can play the music. Junpei, would you be so kind as to play the piano? I am unable to, you see. I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but the keys on this piano are not what you might expect them to be. C won't be C, D won't be D, and so forth. You must listen carefully to determine which keys to strike. Do you understand? Yeah. Alright, let's give this a shot.
Do you know your music?
Okay, so that's that one. Okay, so these four do that top one.
Okay.
It's the I don't remember what. It's the chimes. It's the chimes. Which one's that? This one.
Oh yeah.
And we're done. Music is not my forte. Wait, what was that noise?
Happy.
Junpei! We did it! Looks like it worked. I heard something unlock over by the exit. I'm not sure if they play on Big Ben, but it's definitely a very famous set of chimes that are associated with a lot of clocks, especially Japanese schools. Mm-hmm. They have a special name to it, and it's the W word chimes. I can't remember it. It's probably a British city.
Yeah. I recognized it right away. It does sound like that.
Let's go. Good plan.
Stand! Bow! Be seated.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, I guess he hasn't forgotten that. At least Snakes thinks it's funny. Yes, I suppose that was the classroom bell, wasn't it?
Yep.
I don't imagine that's what Zero was thinking of, however. No, Zero almost certainly meant to suggest Westminster, not middle school. That's it, Westminster chimes.
Mm-hmm.
The palace in London that plays host these days is the House of Parliament.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard of Big Ben, the famous clock tower, yes? It is Big Ben.
Yeah, Big Ben.
Big Ben plays that very collection of notes on the hour.
London. Capital of England, huh?
At any rate, the door is now unlocked.
What about the other locky thingy?
Let's leave this place immediately. What lucky thingy?
The other thing, the one that we needed numbers for.
Oh, the safe.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens when we click these. Alright! Let's go!
Okay.
It's a red herring!
Okay.
I found it!
Yay. I guess the safe wasn't important. He came out of the... Okay. He came out of the door and into a long, straight hallway. He paused for a moment and turned around to look behind him. Seven was bent over, apparently doing something to the door.
What's he up to?
Junpei had spoke more or less to himself, but apparently Seven had heard anyway. The larger man stood up and turned to Junpei.
I was just putting one of those plates in there. Well, keep the door from locking again. Now we can come back here anytime we want, right?
Good idea.
Ah, why would you want to come back here?
Snake was a reasonable one. Seven thought about it for a moment before he answered.
I might like to play a little piano.
Piano?
Come on, let's get moving. We're not out of this yet.
Without waiting for an answer, Seven started off down the hallway. Snake shrugged, sighed, and quietly followed after Seven. That's a lie, Junpei thought to himself. He had difficulty enough believing Seven could play the piano. But even if he could, the piano he just left was largely useless, the keyboard completely scrambled. If Seven wanted to come back, it was unlikely he intended to do so in order to play the piano. Maybe for the safe? If that was the case, why would he want to leave the door unlocked? Junpei frowned, took one last look at the door, and walked away towards his companions. After some time in the hallway, they emerged into a larger, more open area. Ooh. A large metal grate, the door like the door of a jail, divided it in half. They shook it for a while, but as they expected, it would not move. Behind the grate were two elevators. And so far away, however, it was difficult to tell if they were still operating. On the left side of the grate was a door. Unfortunately, however, it was locked and refused to open.
Suspicious situation is suspicious.
Suspiciousness.
Junpei took a minute to examine the left side of the room. Next to the wall was a set of stairs leading downward.
Situation suspicious is situation.
Standing guard at the top of the stairway was a large iron gate. Foreboding as it was, the gate seemed to be sort of what that could be open, unlike the metal grate that bisected the room. With luck, Junpei hoped he might be able to get it open. The female symbol.
That's me.
Oh, sorry.
Female symbol?
It's Mercury!
Venus.
Oh, Venus? Oh yeah, sorry. He wasn't quite sure what to make of it. Snake naturally seemed somewhat more sure.
Ah, the Venus symbol, I imagine. Do you recall the similar symbols near the large central stairway? They reference many of the solar bodies.
Sun? Saturn? Earth?
So, as you can see, that one is likely not the woman symbol, but a Venus symbol. So I assume.
While they had been discussing the symbols, Junpei now realized Seven had slipped away. His absence now felt. Snake and Junpei turned to look for their missing companion. There. Seven had left them to head down the hallway extending to the right of the stairs. Junpei grabbed Snake to lead him in the right direction, and they both headed off after Seven. Before long, the three of them stood in front of a door. It was a French door.
Uh-huh.
They could tell by its toupee. Junpei tested the door and realized that, unlike so many others that they encountered, it was unlocked. Almost as though he was afraid it would suddenly lock itself, Junpei threw the door open. He stepped inside. It only took a moment for Junpei to take in his new surroundings.
Is this some kind of casino?
Sure looks like one.
Before Junpei could comment further, a noise from behind made him turn around. And yeah, Snake was shaking the door they had just come through. And as Seven and Junpei watched, he threw up his hands in frustration, then kicked the door for good measure. It looked as though they were once again locked in. There was no reason to panic, however. Even though the door had been left open, there was nowhere for them to go back there. They would have to find another way out.
Alright, guys. Let's split up and search this room. Come on, no dawdling. Let's go. Quickly now.
Spurred to action by Seven's words, Junpei and Snake began to examine the room.
Did you seek a way out?
So much insistence that there is no reason to go back.
I'm a suspicious narrator.
Square poker table. There's nothing on it.
I am suspiciousness.
A card.
I got a card.
Pick a card, any card. And why did it look like those two corners had different symbols on them? Probably just really pixelated. Like, look at that. That looks like a... There we go. Yeah, it's just really heavily pixelated. Looked like it's 6 for a second.
Sometimes you're limited by the technology you work on. Oh, we're back here.
There's something
on the counter. Looks like a card. A playing card. A playing card.
That's a lot of expensive glasses. Even cheap drinks would taste great out of glasses like these.
Any booze to go with them?
Yes.
Over there.
Oh, will you look at that? Someone left a bottle of booze here. Don't mind if I do.
Don't drink it. It's probably acid.
Oh.
Idiot.
Ah. Oh, that hits the spot. Looks like my throat's burning.
Yeah.
Damn, he really drank it. You don't even know how long it's been there.
And suddenly, his throat burns, and then his chest burns, and then his gut burns, and...
Oh, come on, they wouldn't kill someone else on us like that, would they?
Chandeliers. Chandelier, like, from the ceiling. Little poker table. Suddenly, Seven began to speak.
Baccarat. Probably more like, Baccarat.
You ever played Junpei?
Junpei shook his head. He barely even heard of the game.
Alright then, how about I explain the rules to you a bit? See, Baccarat, kind of an unusual game. Got the banker and the player, and the whole point is that you guess which one's gonna win. And whether the banker or the player wins all depends on their hands. The way each hand works is different from other games too. See, you take the number from the ones place and you add up the value of all your cards. Whoever gets the number closest to 9 wins. If your number is smaller than your opponent's, you lose. And that's it. That's the explanation. Got it? Well, actually there's a lot more to it. Strategy, details, that sort of stuff. But what I just told you sums the core game up pretty well. Single digit of the sum of all the cards you have. The strongest hand is a 9, and the weakest hand is a 0. You just ignore the number in the 10th spot. Do you get it?
He hadn't been asked for it, but Seven's explanation rushed through it had been, was helpful. Although he had only half understood most of it, Junpei now felt as though he had some grasp of how victory was won in Baccarat. However, Junpei had no way of knowing if the puzzle in the Baccarat table in front of him made use of those rules, and if it did, in what way? No problem, he told himself. He would simply have to try everything he could think of. Feeling more confident, if only slightly, Junpei approached the Baccarat table.
Okay. Oh, what's in there?
Do we have enough cards?
The 8 of spades. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got here. So we've got 3 spots, and we got to make 9, ignoring the 10th place. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay. So if we combine 7 and 5, we get to 12. And we're not going to make up the difference there. Those aren't going to work.
You think we're missing a card?
We go 5, 4. 4, 3, 7. Yeah, I think we're missing one. But that's fine. We barely even started searching the room.
Should go with stained glass.
How beautiful.
Eh?
What? Huh? Stained glass is a colored piece of glass placed together in a frame. As I've said many times before, I need only touch it to know. I can at least discern the basic structure.
It's a square table. Looks like a mahjong table.
Do you play Mahjong 7?
Maybe? Don't remember exactly, but do remember a couple hands, some of the rules, so I figure I must have played it at some point.
Excellent. Once we've vacated the vessel, I should like to play a game with you.
Can you, play?
I like to play a game.
So long as you tell me which tiles I am eliminating, yes. I believe I have at least enough skill to defeat an amateur. However, I must ask you to remove the red tiles when we play.
Nine.
It says 9.
Yeah, looks like that cover's hiding something.
This is the cover, then maybe it opens up.
Probably does.
There's a card in there.
It seems that card is attached to the panel. And attached very well, it seems. If you don't mind, what sort of card is this? It's a playing card. It's a spades, in fact.
Aha! Maybe an 8?
Alright, let's give it a shot.
One of these.
Clearly, what's the 9? 3, 4, 5, 7.
We don't have
Let's
enough.
try 4 and 5. No, one at a time. It's not working. So it would seem. I'm shocked and appalled that guessing at random has not yielded better results. Yeah.
Need more cards.
No, wait. Can't tap on the top screen?
1.
The slot machine has a pretty old-fashioned design. Yeah, it looks well maintained and probably still works.
2.
There's a plate on it that says 2. The slot machine has a pretty old-fashioned design, looks well maintained, and probably still works.
3. 1, 2, and 3. Does it have a slot? I mean, like, but
There's no rest though, so I guess it probably still works.
probably need a coin to go in.
There's
Firewood.
firewood in the fireplace. Are we gonna start a fire now?
Ooh. Ooh.
Wait. Those two lights turn on. There's something from the bottom of the fireplace.
Clubs, diamonds, and
What's that?
hearts.
I heard something down there.
Clubs, diamonds, circle.
Oh, there's also a card there.
Yep. Or
Coin bag!
Yay! Whole bunch of coins stuffed into this velour bag.
Look at all those coins.
Perhaps these coins will allow us to convince the machines to move.
Yes, just
Bribe
show them
them.
the coin. Can you move, please? They shuffle to one side. 8.
Eh? I didn't think I'd find a card here.
Yeah, there we go.
Card 6. Was that enough to get us going? Oh wait, what was the pattern here again? That might be relevant. Clubs, diamonds, heart.
Okay.
Well, let's take a look at Baccarat.
Okay.
Hey, 7, are we really supposed to play Baccarat?
It's a baccarat table. What the hell else would we do? Stop worrying about it.
Thanks, Hawk.
It's real simple. What's the opponent's hand?
Well, there's an 8 in that glass case.
Alright, then that's your opponent's number. If that's the case, what 3 cards do we need to get that number?
3 cards?
Ah.
There are a couple of indentations with white lines around them, right? Those mean we gotta put down 3 cards. So,
Okay.
That's what I've got to do, I guess.
So higher than 8. 9.
So, which means we need 9.
9.
He tells me those aren't the only rules.
Give it a shot.
I got them.
Yes, we're fine.
Alright, let's give this a try.
Okay.
So, we got the 6 card, right?
Yep.
So, we need to make 9. So, can we combine this?
With
If we
3.
do
6 and 3?
We need 3 cards.
Oh,
So, if we do 6 and 7, that's 13, but we need another 6. 11. Wait, 7, 5, 6. No, that's 18. Okay, well, we've got something to check these tumblers with. Clubs, diamonds, hearts. Let's see if these have any lined up symbols.
Alright.
It's the coin slot. Convenient, seeing as we only just now discovered a blue bag full of coins.
Okay.
Res cards aren't large enough for 10 plus X, and your lowest cards aren't enough for 0 plus X. Alright, let's put the coins from that bag in here. What happened? I heard an odd noise. Well, to be honest, I don't know. Press on the buttons and smack the machine once or twice, but nothing happened. Oh. Looks like the coins got stuck.
Ah!
Oh dear.
Plate says 3.
Come on, you little bastards, I only need one of you.
Oh, there we go.
Clubs, diamonds,
club,
hearts.
yeah, club, diamond, hearts.
Oh.
Here we go.
Jackpot!
Yay!
Now we can fill up this giant bag
Yes,
of
7,
coins
7,
we have.
7. And I think there's something unlocking in here.
Impressive, Junpei. It would appear to be unlocked now. There's something akin to a drawer in the bottom part of this machine, yes? There's a pickup drawer for dividend. Probably the lock for the drawer got unlocked. Please open, if you would.
And we got a card and a key.
What is it? There's something in there. Yeah, playing card. And this... a key with the Venus symbol on it.
Yay!
Excellent, Junpei. Now we will be able to open the gate. And we just need to figure out how to get out of this room. Correct. Come on, Junpei, hurry up. And he's off. There's a playing card and a Venus key. I put the key in my pocket for later. As for the card,
Which card is it? It's a 2.
now we can do it.
Mm-hmm. Go back to the baccarat table.
I'm good. Thanks, game.
We know.
Now, there might need to be an ordering to this. But... there's only like 6 permutations of this. So I can probably... there we go.
Ta-da!
Alright, if I just put down these 3 cards... yes! Open for me!
Great. You did it, Junpei.
We did it.
Think it's telling us to take the 8 card?
Yes.
Oh, let's grab it.
Let's go and take the 8 card to the other thing.
Alright, let's take this card.
Can we take the other ones back?
3 cards I put down and now stuck to the table.
That's fine.
Won't be going anywhere anytime soon.
I think now we can take the 8 card, go back to that other door, and it should add to the 1.
Oh, you think it's addition?
Might be.
I haven't seen any indication of a 9 card yet.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, that was it. One more time. With feeling. There we go. Oh, and I had got this anyways. Ah, it is.
Ta-da!
And in you go. Hey, alright, it opened up. It seems we have another device to contend with, yes?
There's 3 slots in this one.
Oh, great. Gotta make 9.
Let's see. 3 slots for cards. And there's a 9 right below them.
So that probably means we gotta make 9 with the cards we put in the slots, right? Just like what we did over at the baccarat table.
Alright, let's give it a shot.
Do you have enough? Let's see.
5, 6, 7.
7.
Well, this adds up to 18, which is a digital root.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And these are the only cards we have.
Yeah. Ta-da!
Alright, so I put all the cards we had left into the slots.
What happens now?
Something opened.
Yes, I did hear something from the exit. Excellent work, Junpei. Wonderful. It seems the exit is unlocked. Let's go.
We got the key.
Alright, let's go.
Oh. You found it. Ta-da! Junpei and his companions ran out of the casino and into a large open room.
Which is where we're gonna start off next time.
Yay!
Alright, erase data? No.
No. I am not doing that long of a recap.
Alright then, that's gonna do it for tonight. Thank you everyone for coming out and helping us solve some puzzles. Hope you're enjoying the story so far. And I imagine only good things are going to happen from here on.
Absolutely.
Bye.
We'll see you again next week. Till then, take care.